right, let's get going. Good morning. Mornings with Matt and Bob, powered by Chuy. Happy Hump Day. Happy South by Southwest. If you're doing that, I'll be doing it a little bit later. I think I'm going to our little bash today.
Post Malone's in town. So.
Is he?
Yeah,
I might ring him up. He owes me money.
So come through, Posty.
The man straight ahead. The man you just heard, the hardest working man in show business, a heavyweight champ in every aspect of his life. And ladies and gentlemen, he's got more aspects in his life than Carter has liver pills. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
That's what my mom used to say. I don't even know what that reference is. What's a liver pill anyway? I don't even know. Anyway, he's well, what can I say? He's a workout freak, a shoe head, a food head, and he loves the ladies. You know what?
Wish they loved me.
Oh, they do. They just haven't let you know yet. He takes your phone calls. He keeps our levels straight. He does the podcasts and all the stuff. Gets his hands dirty with radio, ladies and gentlemen. The hardest working man in show business, ladies and gentlemen, the marvelous Mr. Chuy Eldorado.
Thank you so much. I love it. Gentlemen, ladies, other genders.
Now the man to my right. He is a former star of episodic television.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, he has been a stand-up comic. Graced the stages across this land from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, ladies and gentlemen, and back again. And then back again. He's traversed this...
and once more.
This great nation. He is also... what else can I say about him? He's not here right now. His truck's outside.
He's on the road. He can hear it. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know.
I thought I saw his truck in the parking lot. Was somebody else's?
He said he had the big sleep.
Oh, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together in abstention for the marvelous Mr. Matt Bearden right here, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, thank you, Matt. I'm Matt. And the gentleman in front of me. Folks, let me tell you. Every single day is like a runway fashion show when you're sitting in here in front of this man. He strutted down here. I don't know why he took the turn in the hallway and went back. Just a strut. There's no audience.
Oh, yeah. I'm just practicing my walk.
Which is absolutely fine when you look like him. Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, stop.
He's a star of stage and screen as well.
Stop.
He's been the sports announcer for the Ice Bats. He's been a part of Austin before y'all even knew where Austin was. But he's also a kind father, husband, lover, and brother. But he gives all that up every single morning just to be with you and give you the rock and roll news. Ladies and gentlemen, his name, Bob Fonseca!
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. How you doing? Matt's on the way. Chuy's here. We got Alex in the back room, the big man. We're going to see what kind of drip he's rocking today.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I had a pretty good day yesterday.
You did?
Went with my son to see... I went with... One of my sons turned 21 yesterday. But with my other son, Caden, I went to see Dune Part 2 yesterday. Don't have a clue what's going on in that movie.
I guess
don't have a clue.
Like there's worms?
Don't have a clue.
It's post-apocalyptic, and now worms are there.
I literally just sat in my chair looking at the not-so-pretty picture. It's dark.
You didn't see the old one?
There's a lot of sand.
Is there an old one?
It's got more sand than Kandahar had. It's got a lot of sand.
Nothing will beat Tremors, the first one.
And I don't know who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. It's got Elvis in it. Because Caden leaned over me just before the movie started. He goes, you remember where, the last movie left off, right? And I go, I didn't even know there was a part one. When was that? I think it was before the pandemic.
That's why you're lost.
It was 2020 when the first one came out.
What's the worm's name?
I have no idea. I don't know if I want the worms or don't want the worms. I don't know who
they're friends
is. Timothée Chalamet, is he on the same team as Zendara?
I don't know.
How can a movie be that? It was almost like it was directed by what's his name? Christopher Nolan.
Oh.
Why do they make movies? Why can't every movie be like The Holdovers? Just easy to understand. Just give me 3 characters and a good story.
And make me feel.
and make me feel?
I don't know. Tremors made me feel.
That was so long ago.
That is scary.
When was that? The 90s, 80s?
It had to have been late 80s or 90s.
Is that Kevin Bacone?
Because that's one of those things, like, when you watch or see it, and you taste something for some reason, when I watch or see Tremors, I taste potted meat. Because that's what I ate when I was younger, watching it on TV.
Right. Well, I felt absolutely nothing watching Dune. I felt absolutely nothing.
Is it scary or suspense or adventure?
I felt no feels. I had no feels whatsoever. I didn't know who was good, who was bad, why certain people were in the movie at all. Who was I supposed to be rooting for? The end, it just ended. The beginning just began. It's like kind of like Star Wars, but it's not.
But you watched it.
Well, I couldn't get up and leave. I mean, we came together. We had to leave together. I'm not putting it down. I know it sounds like I am. It's not for me. It never was.
But you still went to go see it?
Well, because my son, he goes, let's go see Dune. I go, okay, I'm not doing anything. And then we were going to be in that area for Evan's birthday dinner anyway at Lingwu, sorry.
Y'all went to Lingwu?
Yeah.
You get the pecan shrimp?
No, we got...
Crawfish?
We got 3... There was 4 of us, so we got 3 entrees.
They got dim sum. It's all dim sum.
No, not all the time. You can get that, I guess. I don't know. Again...
I guess you can get a steak at Peter Luger's.
Again, I was just going through the motions.
Okay. Thanks to the Dune thing.
No, we had what's the name of the beef that they do? The Japanese
Akashi.
Beef. Akashi. We had the Akashi.
With the green
with the peppers. We had the.
Have you already been there? Is that how you know the menu inside out?
Been there twice now.
Wow.
I know we had 2 dumplings at the beginning. We had the soup and the.
Okay, all right. As long as you had at least.
Yeah, no, we had the soup, dumplings, and the chicken, the crispy chicken.
I love Lingwu.
And then we had the beef. We had 2 chicken dishes. I can't remember which ones they were.
All right.
One was like the orange, I think, and then the other one was the whatever. I don't know.
The basil
with
chicken dumplings.
with the pecan. We didn't have those.
But we digress.
Anyway, and then I had a sashimi salad, I think.
Oh, how was that? I thought about trying that.
It was good.
Okay.
Had some yellowtail and some salmon.
Yeah, sashimi. Did you use the Japanese toilet?
I did not. I did see it, though, because I went in to wash my hands. I did see this weird contraption. It looked...
Should have washed your hands in the toilet.
Yeah, it's
coincidentally, it looked like it was something from Dune, but I didn't know how to open it.
It opened. You don't have to know how. It opens for you. It knows when you want it to open.
I didn't get close enough, I guess, then. I didn't know. I didn't have that...
It knew that.
I didn't have that
you didn't
urge.
have to pee.
It's the entire entertainment when you go to Lingwu.
But anyway, why do movies have to be so complicated?
I don't think Dune can be made. Do you know what I mean?
They tried. They've tried it.
They've tried so many times.
I did not like the David Lynch version at all.
The David Lynch version, nobody could understand. This version, have you ever seen Jodorowsky's Dune? Jodorowsky's Dune?
No, I didn't.
There's a documentary. There's an important European filmmaker. I don't think he did much here in the U.S., so we don't seem to know him as well. But
did he do Solaris?
Was that in the 70s?
Yeah.
He may have that.
Like that science fiction movie?
Yeah, he was really into sci-fi. Right, okay, probably.
It sounded familiar.
Okay, there's a documentary that came out probably about 10 years ago about him trying to make Dune and how impossible it was for him to try to make.
But why is it? Why is that even? Why even attempt it?
I think now it's a flex. You're like, can I be the one that makes Dune and makes it work?
There's no way they're going to greenlight Part 3. There's just no way.
How's the box office?
I saw that preview last week that had all the writing on the screen, like greatest movie of the century. Century's still pretty young.
Yeah, but you got to look at the caption.
A movie that gets into your soul and never leaves.
But you got to look at who's saying
the only thing that hasn't left.
Yeah,
is
sometimes it's like
guy on Subway.
Yeah,
I know. It's all like
Peter from down the hall in our marketing department.
Dude sleeping on the sidewalk.
Yeah. The guy next to you at work.
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt nothing. I don't know. Too many characters, too much going on.
Nothing about it makes me want to see it.
I go to Caden afterward at dinner. I go, hey, by the way, where was the spice? He goes, it was in the sand. I goes, in the sand?
Spice?
The spice was in the sand. He goes, yeah, you know, when the sand sparkles, that's the spice. They have to harvest it or whatever.
What?
And I go, well, shouldn't they put that in the subtitles or something?
Well, you would have, if you saw the first one, you would understand that.
I thought there was going to be a big mound of like red spice or something.
So there's nothing seasoned?
Some hardcore carnivore.
At all HEBs now.
I don't know. I'm giving it a hard time. I guess it's an achievement. But also every movie these days seems blurry to me. Mm-hmm. Like, how come they can't make movies sharper? And I was at a good theater with a huge screen.
But weren't you like...
And I think they have to dumb down the audio quality to cover up the effects.
Well, did you have
the video quality to mask the digital effects a little bit. Because everything, all the motion seems blurry to me. And it's like, I feel like this crowd scene that has 1 billion people in it should be a little sharper. But you know it's all CGI, so... And then Elvis was in it. And I'm just coming off of watching Elvis fly a B-17, so my brain is totally messed up with this.
I mean, he did it all.
With this Austin... I like this kid. What's his name?
I don't know it. And I'm
the
saying because he's probably
guy from Elvis.
Yeah. I know, but I didn't see Elvis, and I didn't see the B-52 thing either. So
no, not a B-52. It was B-17.
Think of his name. He's probably in town.
That's the correction we're going to make?
Austin Power. What's his name?
I like that.
He's in town, and he's leaving Austin right now.
He's not.
Just
Is he in town?
He's probably listening to the show, and he's like, you know what?
Wow.
Bob, you're dead to me now.
I guess I didn't make the impact I intended. Here we go. Big Al's got the answer.
Austin Butler.
Austin Butler. I like that kid. That kid's good.
Oh, Al, sorry. Watch out. There's a wall right there.
Watch your head as well.
Oh, God, that looked like it didn't feel good. All right.
That's a bruise.
He plays a character called Buck in Masters of the Air, and his best friend is named Bucky.
What's
There's
his
a
last
Buck
name?
and a
Nasty?
Bucky. And right now they're in a prisoner of war camp trying to bust. It's based on a true story.
Dang.
Based on the book Masters of the Air. But every once in a while,
it's
little
called
Elvis,
B-52s.
little Elvis creeps in. You know what I mean? Every once in a while.
Oh, in the show, he tries to have sex with a 14-year-old?
Now, I did watch Priscilla on the plane the other day. It wasn't bad, but it didn't go anywhere. And you know how it ends, so...
You know, right now, y'all sound like a bunch of bubbas.
Yeah, you do. Bunch of ignorant old bubbas.
Are you going to go? Go see Dune and then come back and explain it to me?
No way.
I have to watch the first one.
Yeah, I don't...
And sometimes you want the worms to come, and other times you don't want the worms to come.
That's married life.
You put that thing in the sand that goes...
Go.
And they collect the spice? The
worms don't.
Worms?
I don't think so. The worms eat the people.
Yeah, and then Sting rides one of the worms. That's all I really remember from Dune.
I don't remember Sting in that.
Sting was in the original Dune, the one from the 80s.
I thought David Bowie was in that.
No, it was Sting. And when I
What's the
remember...
difference?
What I remember...
Oh, I was thinking Labyrinth.
Yeah.
I remember the way the advertising was set up for that. I felt like I was supposed to go. Like, if I didn't go, I would be missing a cultural event. Not just a movie, but like, well, I couldn't go to college one day, I don't think, if I don't know what happens in the movie Dune.
Yeah, right.
And then I just watched it, and I was like, what the hell?
Well, Caden was like, after the movie, he's like, oh my God, I loved every second of it.
Oh, really?
I loved every second of it. And it's
I guess
like,
we're
the
the
way it
morons?
ended was so great. And it's like...
Well, at least you found something you could agree on. You thought it was great when it ended, right?
I need character.
You were so good. You were happy when it was over.
I need story. And also I had to erase Willy Wonka out of my brain for the first 30 minutes.
I didn't watch that.
Timothy Chalamet just coming off of Willy Wonka. Where's the chocolate? Forget the spice. Where's the chocolate?
We're back at you. It's click, click, boom time. We go through the clickbait so you don't have to. I brought this in just for my friend Bob Fonseca.
Oh.
Today, it's the 7 best 70s vinyl albums to own, according
And you know
to
what I
Audio
love.
Files.
You know what I love, and I'm going to have all 7 of them.
Now, I remember this popped off for us before when we did the best albums to own according to Audiophiles. And we're going to do this one in reverse order because obviously some of the items from best to own of all time ended up on the same list, right? Because they're checking with the same audiophiles.
There's only 5 of us out there. Of all the people I know, and I know a lot of people, I'm the only one who does this stuff, which is amazing to me because everybody says they love music. Mm-hmm. Oh, I love music. Oh, what do you listen to your music on? I don't know. These little white things came with my phone. I put those in my ears. And if that's what you got, more power to you. But don't tell me you love music.
I love it so much that's how I listen
because you're
to
missing a lot of it. You know what I'm saying? Go to the United States of Analog on YouTube and find out what you should
Right,
be
but I
having.
love women, but I married a woman that came with my phone.
And she's white like the...
Let's get into it. So it's no surprise because this was the top of the overall list.
Yeah.
So it's going to be the top of the 70s list. But
Okay.
we'll mention it again from 1973. Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah,
Which
and this is a sore. Why do you do this to me at 6:54 in the morning? Why do you do this to me? Because you know my OG. When I sent my mother when I was in high school and I was living in England, Lakenheath, England, Suffolk County, East Anglia. I sent my mother to London on the day of release of Dark Side of the Moon to go to Virgin Records. Before Richard Branson had an airline and a cruise ship and a rocket ship, he had one single record store in London called Virgin Records.
yeah, and it did pretty well for itself.
And I sent her to Virgin Records, and I said, you've got to get this record called Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon. Don't get Floyd Pink. Don't get some other Moon record. I got to have this one.
Right.
Because she didn't know anything about records.
Right.
And I thought there's fat chance she's on a woman's trip or whatever to London. Fat chance she's going to find Virgin Records and then in all of London and then bring home the record to me.
Plus, your mom didn't even speak English, so.
No, she spoke Italian. Sure enough, that night, came home. Minty, fresh.
Pink Floyd.
Hey,
fresh. First British press, Pink Floyd with the light blue triangles, all the swag inside. The posters, the stickers, everything. I have no idea what happened to that record in the years that have gone by. I must have gone on a record-selling tear at some point in the 80s and not remembered selling that. Like, why would I sell that? It's worth, that particular pressing is worth $3,000 to $5,000.
But your particular pressing is worth zero.
Zero.
Because you don't have it.
Right. I have it. I have like 3 or 4 copies of it now.
But not that one.
Not the original British first press.
That your mom...
That my mom...
She had to she had to walk off base.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, they took a bus.
Took a bus off base.
London was about, 40 miles away maybe.
Oh, they took the bus. They didn't have to get on a train or anything?
No, I think they took a bus probably. And then, but once she was in London, she had to find Virgin Records. Yeah. London's a big place.
They were like, "Ma'am, miss, can we help you?" And she was like, "Adonde a spaghetti meatball?"
Hey. The Dark Side of the Moon.
Nino.
Garlic.
Nino. Dark Side Moon.
It's one of the 2 records in my childhood or my high school record collection that I cannot locate, and it's one of life's great mysteries.
Have you tried looking on the Dark Side of the Moon?
It might be there.
Well, that's number 1.
Okay.
We already had gotten some deep. You know what's funny is you were saying, why do you? You've never told me that particular part of the story.
It's all true. I played that record. That probably wouldn't even sound good today if I found it because I played it so much. You could probably see through it.
Right.
But those are very difficult to find now. The light blue triangle OGs.
Oh, we don't have to. I mean, it's an incredible. It's got psychedelic elements, progressive elements. I don't think anyone in America gets through high school without hearing the
album.
Great
sound
a couple
effects,
of times.
great headphone album. Yeah. Good test record for your stereo.
No surprise.
Okay.
We'll get to this one, and then we'll get into some stuff that we didn't discuss earlier, okay? You can't talk about the 70s and albums without talking about the album where I think every single track got released as a single, and it's still played over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. I think Bob FM is just this album. It was the first album to have a new songwriting couple join the band.
No, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
What is it?
I have a 45 RPM copy of that. It's Fleetwood Mac's Rumors.
That's it. hit
I
songs
have
like
some
Go
OGs.
Your Own Way.
I have some first pressings, and
Dreams.
I have a 45 RPM from.
How do you play a 45 RPM? They just got super tight grooves or something? I mean,
It's on 2 discs.
Oh.
So the single album's on 2 discs, so you get like 2 or 3 songs a side. It's from Analog Productions in Salinas,
is the idea
Kansas.
that you have a better sound? It's better sounding if you run it at 45?
You get more detail out of the grooves. Yeah, it makes sense, right? I mean, it makes sense. The needle's going quicker. Do you know a stylus actually melts a record as it's going through?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It melts the grooves, and then the grooves cool down and kind of go back to their original shape. That's the kind of forces that are being exerted in the kind of movement that's being exerted by the stylus.
Ladies.
Kind of the same way when I...
Yeah, baby.
True story.
Yeah, it's an album. I mean, even my kid, my daughter, and all of her friends are still into this album. This is kind of a timeless. This one just exploded and took off and never really stopped.
Come on over and listen to the 45.
Okay, I'll do
right.
that sometime.
I think I played it for you when you guys were over. Remember? We were sitting in that bar one afternoon.
No, we came over one time.
What was I playing?
I was like, "Hey, can we listen to some music?" And you were like, "I don't melt grooves for just anybody." And I was like, "Well, how about us?" And you go, I think you put on Eric Church while we were over there.
Oh, God.
No, that's a...
You were like, "Wait till you hear the high fidelity in
Now
this
the
Eric
party
Church
started.
album."
Wait to hear Record Year.
Brutal.
Are you floating something, or are you going to give me another record that I can wax
We're gonna
nostalgic
do
about?
one more record and then we'll save a couple for tomorrow.
come
Okay?
on.
What? Well, no, I'm gonna.
I know one that you're going to do that from the 70s that I'm not going to have, and that's Frampton Comes Alive. I don't own it.
Why don't you have that one? That's like
I don't
the
like
one.
live albums in general.
But that's the live album of all live albums.
It really is.
I know, it is. And it's probably going to be on your
The
list.
guy makes his effing guitar
It's
talk to the
talking to me.
audience.
I had it on 8-track, or my girlfriend in high school had it on 8-track or something.
I remember exactly where I was. I remember the road I was on. I remember the car I was in when the first time I heard that song. And I was like, what is this? I've never even heard this. Why is this on it? And the guy who was an older kid who was driving me home, he's like, you don't know Frampton? And I was like, no. And he's like, you puss. You know what I mean? Like, you know how you talk to each other nice. And he's like, dude makes his guitar talk. And I was like, no, he doesn't.
The thing is,
And he goes, wait. And so you're going through all that. It's so slow, Bill. And I was like, God almighty, this song is terribly boring.
It's like 5 minutes in.
Yeah,
or
and I was like, I don't know why we're listening to this. It's instrumental. What is it? And all of a sudden, I hear the guitar go.
the brownies kicked in.
Now, I didn't know he had that little mouth thing that helped you. I thought he was just so good with his fingers that he was somehow making his guitar sound like human words. And I was like, oh my God, how come more people aren't talking about this?
the odd thing is he did all that on the album, the studio album, before the live album.
No one cared about it.
Nobody cared about it. I can't
No.
even name the studio album that came before Frampton Comes Alive.
I think it was the audience's reaction in the live album that made it so. And also, I think Stevie did it first. Did the little tuba.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Yeah.
We're coming right back to this, but real quickly, let's tell you about Renegade Truck. RenegadeTruck.net is how you reach out. You can get the address and the information there. But what's really important to know is it is a very friendly joint, and the dudes there, sorry, there may be some ladies. I've only met dudes. They really know what they're doing when it comes to trucks.
They really do.
add-ons,
When it comes to
accessories.
customizing and accessorizing, and I like to use the word enableizing. Like you can do more things with your vehicle after it goes to Renegade Truck. You might be headed.
Enableizing.
You may be headed to the trails. A lot of people do that.
might be
They
headed to the
get-
mall.
they
A lot of
get
people
all-
do that.
They like to get all muddy. I used to flex on the curb, the curb blocks at the mall. And
Well, no judgment there.
no judgment.
You
You know?
just tell them, hey, this is something I would like. I mean, you deserve it. You bought a vehicle. You would like to make it, customize it, make
You
it
want
yours.
performance suspension.
And they'll help you also find stuff, even if you
performance.
don't know what it is you want. You just know
Exhaust.
kind of what it looks like or whatever. Bring them some pictures. They'll go, okay, we can find that for you.
If you're new to town, you got a truck, a Jeep, a Bronco, a Wrangler, or a Gladiator, whatever. If these are the people you need to know. You need that support system.
Yeah, they're helping me out. They've helped Bob out. Check them out. It's renegadetruck.net.
All right, give me one more, and
I'm going to give you one more,
and
then we'll do the other ones tomorrow. Is that okay?
Okay. You're trying to get me to come back. I was going to take the day off. Now I have to come back in.
Okay. Well, I'm going to see if you can guess this. Okay. I'm going to give you the hints of things that I know about it, and see. Okay. The 1960s are extremely turbulent.
You don't have to tell me. I lived it.
Well, I didn't.
I did.
I didn't.
I did.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't.
I did.
Okay. We've confirmed that now. 1960s incredibly turbulent. There are students protesting at a university, and people come in and they shoot them. The National Guard shoots students for not even violent protests, sit-ins. Friends, you're graduating from high school, and some of your friends are going to war. There are race riots in the streets.
Yep.
A president has been shot. A social icon, MLK, a leader, has been shot. The whole world seems to be in turmoil.
Yeah.
And this guy puts out an album in 1971. Soulful vocals, seamless blend of R&B, soul, and jazz. And he asks on this album a very, very, very important question of Americans. It's a bit of a self-reflexive question.
Yep. I got it.
Okay, what is it?
I got it.
Okay.
It's What's Going On by Marvin Gaye.
Nailed it. Look at that. Look how good Bob is at this game.
One of the best pressings you can get is still out there. I'd grab it before it goes out of print. But
poignant reflection on the state of the world with themes of war, poverty, environmental destruction, intricate arrangements, and then just even the title track is still an absolute banger because
you got to come over. I've got the
dude. What's going on when you think? When I was a kid, I just thought it was like, hey, what's going on? You know what I mean? Because I think what makes it so good as an adult is it's a song that sounds kind of upbeat and happy, right?
Yeah, it's got a nice groove. You can groove to it.
It's got this nice happy. Yeah. But when you listen to the lyrics, he's asking you like, oh,
what the hell's going on?
Things ain't what they used to be.
Right.
We've got to find a way.
So you could still get, I got this, best sounding copy I've ever had.
Really?
50th anniversary. Okay.
No.
Cut from the original master tapes, all analog, AAA, all the way through, the whole chain, mastered by Kevin Gray. You still get it. Go see
Piranha?
Yeah, go see John over at Piranha and grab that before it goes out of print because that's a banger. If you're going to get that record and you don't have an OG, you got to get that one.
I'll get it. I love Marvin.
Heavy Duty Jacket.
Do you remember when you were a kid, where I don't know, maybe you weren't this way. Chuy, you may, but that you felt like if you went out of your selected genre, you were somehow cheating on the musicians that were inside that genre. You know what I mean? Like when I was in high school or junior high, I remember like, oh, I'm into blank music. And I felt like I wasn't allowed to like anything else. You know what I mean? Like somehow that was cheating. And then you get older and you're like, oh, I want to like all music.
Yeah.
Well, it was a confusing time for me because I was the era of Limp Bizkit. Then it's like, is this rock? Is it rap?
Right.
What am I supposed to? How am I supposed to feel?
I didn't realize what's going. I guess I knew, but to be 1971 and it still sounds like it could have been recorded yesterday. That's pretty amazing. Yeah. Plus, you got to remember where Motown was at that time. ABC, Stop in the Name of Love. A lot of poppy.
Bubblegum pop. Throwaway.
Lot of just, I don't know if it's throwaway, but yes.
It is throwaway. I mean, I'm not disparaging the artists, and I know that they're in the lexicon of the country and all that. But there's no takeaway from those songs.
But for him to drop that on Motown must have been, Berry Gordy must have been like, had a lot of faith in Marvin Gaye because to drop that on a label that's doing all that Diana Ross and the Supremes and Jackson 5 at the time and things like that.
The whole idea was sales.
It's like, hey, man,
let's not get ourselves in controversy. Let's not get ourselves in trouble.
Let's keep our head down. Yeah, that was pretty phenomenal. That's a big move. It's a bold statement. Good album cover, too.
Incredible.
He's in the rain in that black...
Anytime they're in the rain.
That black leather jacket.
Anytime someone's in the rain on the album cover.
Because he's trying to say to you, man, these important things are happening.
Crazy.
It's not good right now. We got to do something about it.
A lot of great songs on that record, too. That wasn't the only one. The whole thing is all the way through. It's listenable.
That's today's
Thank you,
jump.
Matt.
And hey,
I want to go record shopping.
a little bit of a present is I'm going to bring you in 4 more albums
Oh, wow.
tomorrow.
See if I have them.
Okay, I'm pretty sure you're probably going to have them all, but I'm enjoying discussing how excited you get about this, S.
Well, stop the presses. Neil Young is back on Spotify.
I report the news. That's what I do.
It's Bob Fonseca's Rock and Roll
Oh,
News.
man, how you doing? What a great time to be alive and rock and roll. I'm Bob. I'm Rock's last great reporter. If you're here for South by Southwest and you're just flipping through the dials, well, you've landed on the right spot. You're in the sweet spot right now. That's right. I got the rock and roll news for you so you don't walk around the streets of Austin sounding like a doofus. You can take these headlines to the bank. Because I've got all the rock headlines, and man, I'm telling you, things are heating up. Things are heating up. Oh, my goodness. And remember, by the way, I don't make the rock news. I'm not the headline. But I just report it. So don't kill the messenger. Now, this story makes me kind of laugh. Because Neil Young has been at war with Spotify for a while. I say a war. It's not a violent war. It's just a war of they just agree to disagree. Neil Young has taken his music on and off Spotify over the years. Listen, let me put it this way to you, because I'm not a Spotify fan. And if there's a Spotify activation in the city right now, I apologize. And anything I might say in the next 5 minutes can't be held against me. Because I'm gonna asterisk and say, these are my opinions. Okay?
Well, all Spotify has to do is pay artists just a bit more, that they're not the crappiest payer of all the streaming services.
I don't even care what they're paying.
And then we'll go to the next people and we'll S on them.
Well, here's my deal. While most families, most parents are spending thousands of dollars trying to get their kids off of drugs, I've been spending my time trying to get my kids off of Spotify. It is the lowest quality, in my opinion, streaming service out there. Why anybody would be on Spotify, I don't know. It's less than CD quality. It's less than 4416.
I'm on Apple, so.
They're lossless now. Well,
Spatial, too.
we'll do this,
Sounds good.
Gimmicky.
We'll go for a ride.
They're not to the level of Tidal. That's what upsets you.
Right. I finally converted one of my sons, Caden, to Tidal. Evan is now. I'm trying to get all my kids on. I don't care if they do drugs or not. I just don't want them on Spotify. Well, Neil Young came out yesterday begrudgingly admitted that he is going to re-release his catalog on Spotify. He had taken it off in protest against the streaming services doing Joe Rogan's podcast and all that stuff. But he's also been a what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, he's all about high quality, high res.
Well, remember
music.
he came out with
I
that
know.
player. What was it called?
But
The Poon or something?
Nobody bought his Poon.
No.
Nobody wants Neil Young's Poon.
No, they don't.
I know, but it looked really good. It excited me.
The thing is, Flack had already existed. I mean,
know.
it was like
I know.
Anyway, he has decided he stayed on Apple and Amazon, but he's decided to go back on Spotify. Let's see if I can get Neil Young's quote. And I don't know who's still listening to a lot of Neil Young music. He comes out with like 2 records a month now. You've probably never even heard of him.
I heard him.
But the Neil Young record section at the record store is pretty big. My decision comes as he's talking about misinformation. But let me see.
Let him see.
I'm trying to get this quote because he had a good quote here. I hope all you millions of Spotify users enjoy my songs. They will now all be there for you, except for the full sound we created. So, in other words, he's saying you're only getting my music partially.
Because all the music's not,
Here's
all the
what I don't
music's
get.
not there at 44,
Why is he making
16.
this move? There's really no money to be made for an artist on Spotify.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
So why is he succumbing and saying, okay, well, I'll put it there anyway, even though you're not getting...
he might need the money. I don't know.
But what money is he
money?
going to make?
I don't know what little
He's gonna
money,
make
but
what?
I guess when you...
10 grand?
But I guess if you combine it with a little bit of money he gets from Apple, and a little bit he gets from Qobuz, and a little bit he gets from all these streaming services are out there. Amazon, iTunes.
That doesn't make sense to me.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe his press agent is like, hey, well, there's a way you can get the headlines this week. It's South by Southwest week, whatever. Everybody's talking about music. I don't know. I don't think much about Neil Young these days. I think he's a great artist, and I'll put on a Neil Young record once in a while, but I think he's fighting a losing battle. People don't want... Of all the people I know, of all the people I know
All
over
of
the years, they're here and in the past,
Millions.
I'm the only one I know that cares anything about this. I know you don't, Chuy. I've offered you equipment. I've offered Matt equipment.
Yeah, but
nobody cares. You guys are
Chuy as
more
a
than
prune
happy
player.
to listen to lesser quality music. You're fine with it. I guess I should be fine with it too, but I'm not. So I'm kind of with Neil Young, and I'm kind of not with Neil Young. But anyway, good luck to Neil. Good luck to your campaign to try to get Spotify to at least go to a paid tier of quality. People always go, but I like the playlists. I like to do my Spotify playlists, and if I switch over to Tidal, I'm not going to have my playlists. And that's the way they say it. My playlists.
And Apple's got some good shows, too.
Chuy. I'm going to convert you to, because I consider you one of my sons. You're my lost son. I'm going to convert you to. I'm going to bring you over to Tidal.
I've discovered some new artists on there.
If I have to pay for it myself.
You can't discover new artists some places.
All right. Let's get back to the rock and roll news and enough of my pontification.
Here it comes, ladies
I
and
talked
gentlemen.
about-
I hope you're excited.
Last night I got out all my Raspberries records, and I did a little personal tribute to Eric Carmen of the Raspberries, who
Rest in
died
peace.
2 days ago. Another great performer who I love his albums, died on the same day. I didn't give him his due yesterday. Carl Wallingberg. Now Wallinger, not Wallingberg. Wallinger. You may not know that name.
I don't.
I think he was originally in the Waterboys.
Yes, correct.
But he created a band that had two fantastic albums. Maybe they did more, but there were two that I remember. World Party. World Party in the 80s was a great pop
He had more
rock
than
band.
just those two albums,
That
but those first
album
two.
were Goodbye Jumbo.
Yes.
Goodbye, Jumbo.
Oh, my God. What a great album that is.
Goodbye, Jumbo.
I mean, it is a masterwork. It is
There's a song called The Box.
The Box.
And
drive
that-
your car
I
around the
remember
railroad, put the
message in
in
the
the
box.
box and drive.
Put the box
Oh,
into the
my
car.
God. I love that.
Drive the car around the world.
That whole album is great. It's got an elephant on the front. It's a very psychedelic cover. Cool. World Party was a great band. He was a great artist. And he died Sunday at the age of 66, too.
God, that's young. Is it, though?
That is young.
When I was younger, that sounded really old.
Yeah, no cause of death was reported by People magazine, but that's a highly recommend. That's their World Party's second album. He was World Party. It's kind of weird when an artist like Prince and the Revolution was pretty much just Prince on record.
Well, yeah.
World Party was just him.
Pretty much just him. He played
called
most
himself-
of the instruments, yeah.
He called himself World Party because he liked the idea of a band.
Yeah. And anyway, I highly recommend that. Check that album out if you get it. Stream it on Spotify. Put it on your playlists. I don't know why I do that little lisp when I do playlist, but
we appreciate it, though.
no, you don't. You don't appreciate anything I do, Chuy.
I think I do.
I'm trying to lead you guys. You're going astray, and I'm trying to lead you into the right direction. All right, let's see what other rock and roll news we have. Let's get to some happier headlines here. Slash has announced the... no. You know what? Well, Slash has announced the Serpent Festival, and I don't even know where that takes place.
Nice. That
Do you know?
sounds
Have you ever
badass.
been?
Never.
No.
Yeah, all right, well, I won't because I got to do something else here because it happened yesterday.
Oh.
It happened. One of my favorite artists, Lenny Kravitz,
Just got his star.
got his Hollywood Walk of Fame star yesterday.
Well deserved.
Tuesday afternoon in the historic ceremony in front of the iconic Capitol Records Tower, the home of the Beatles, the Beach Boys, the Raspberries on Capitol, by the way.
Oh, my.
Eric Carmen and the Raspberries, because they were going to be the next Beatles. They were the American Beatles, kind of. The rocker received the honor alongside daughter Zoe Kravitz, still looking fine.
Yeah,
Hey,
Zoe.
she's her own person. She doesn't need to be. Her looks are not important to the
And
story.
actor Denzel Washington,
Man.
Training Day,
My man.
his best work.
My man.
My man. Denzel, my man. They were there to help celebrate. They were guest speakers at the induction ceremony conducted by the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce. And they declared, well, they're probably the only ones that declared, March 12th is Lenny Kravitz Day.
There we go.
Hey.
So yesterday
There we
was
go.
Lenny Kravitz Day. I hope you celebrated.
I did. I wore a scarf and a shirt made out of a fishing net.
Ooh. That's how you know you're a catch.
Then I made love to 7 women whose names I didn't even know.
Now, we all know that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame voting is going to take place very soon. And so this is a year that I've seen something that I haven't seen in past years, and that's a lot of rock stars campaigning for their favorite acts to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall
Usually
of Fame.
they
Now,
act all cool about it. They're like, hey,
Well-
man, it's just an honor to be, we'll see what happens.
I
But this
don't-
year they're like, I want in.
I don't think it's for the artists to campaign for other artists because I think rock and roll is for the people. I think the people, it's fine if the people want to campaign. I've been campaigning for the Jay Giles Band to be in. And they've missed it 3 or 4 times. They've been nominated, and they never get in. And we know that everybody from Paul McCartney to, well, just about everybody's singing the praises of Foreigner, making sure that they get in. And then they're probably rightfully so. I don't know. Yeah, we know that one of the members of Foreigner is got a terrible illness, and if they're going to do it, this would be the year to put Foreigner in before it's too late. Well, now Joe Bonamassa, he's from my hometown of Utica, New York. Did you know that?
No, I had no idea.
Well, my hometown's Rome, but it's really pretty much attached to Utica. But
It's
Joe
funny.
Bonamassa's from Utica.
Yeah, he was being interviewed, and they said, where are you from? And he goes, I'm not from any place. It's not my place.
Did he mention my name?
He said, I'm from Bob Fonseca. You know Bob Fonseca.
That's where the whole
Bob
Italian
Fonseca's Rock and Roll
side
News.
of my family migrated to from New York City. Then they moved up to Utica, and that's the way I pronounce it because that's the way they say it up there.
Immigrant.
And all my the Italian side of my family's there. My Hispanic side of my family's in. When I got contacted by a cousin I've never heard of the other day, reached out to me
I'm sorry.
on Instagram.
Ask for money?
I think he's probably going to ask for money, but he's like, hey,
Give him a little.
they're from down in Raymondville, Texas. They're still down there.
Give 'em a
It's
lot.
Fonseca clan down there. Anyway, Joe Bonamassa has been campaigning for Peter Frampton. But I thought Peter Frampton was in already, but I think it's the humble pie with Peter Frampton. I don't know. It's so complicated. Did you know that Peter Frampton was in Humble Pie before Steve Marriott?
Would never have known that.
Before Steve Marriott went off and created the hotel chain?
I think he actually talked about it when when we had him on air here. I think he said something about Humble Pie.
So I think they're trying to get the Peter Frampton humble pie in. I don't know.
I don't know
It's
about
so
that.
confused. Rock and roll has gotten so confusing.
Makes it very difficult to feel like he does.
Weezer is going to go out on tour. The Voyage to the Blue Planet tour, they're calling it. And they're going to play their debut album, their debut LP in full. And a lot of bands like to do this. And I'm not against it unless they pick a really terrible album. Well, they'll play an entire album.
I like that.
Like I went to a Bruce show and he played Darkness on the Edge of Town in its entirety. And then I went another time, he played The River, which is a double in its entirety.
I like that. Some
I
albums-
kind of like that.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. So Weezer's going to be doing that, and I wanted to bring you that. I don't know. Okay, it's time for. Can I do this now? I think let me see if I have one more story before I get to rock and roll news. I'm looking at the clock.
Yeah.
And I want to give you the full South by Southwest rock and roll news.
Oh, thank goodness. I'm out of touch.
Clown's got a new drummer.
Good.
I don't know Clown. Do you know Clown?
I'm clowning.
Clune?
Ozzy Osbourne is looking for actors to play him in his biopic, which is being planned.
Chalamet.
You know what? Is there anything that Timothy Chalamet can't do?
Actually, oddly enough, I would go Chris Hemsworth because he's got the kind of accent already.
I would like to see one of the Hemsworth brothers get an Academy Award. I know they were present. He was a present. Chris was it Chris or was it Liam? It was Chris that was a presenter the other night.
Yeah, I think he should be all
with the girl from the poker game show thing. I can't remember her name because she's got 3 names. But
Sally Jesse Raphael.
I would like to see one of the Hemsworth brothers get some kind of Academy Award.
I'll nominate him.
But he's Australian, right?
Is he?
And Ozzy's British, isn't he?
Oh, okay. I thought he was.
Aren't they from down under? The Hemsworths?
I don't know.
You're asking me questions I can't answer because I don't. This is not the place where I feel care.
The other actor that I feel like could do it. What? You don't care about the Ozzy biopic?
That's fine. You're asking me about the Hemsworths. I'm just saying I don't know anything about the Hemsworths. This is.
I feel like that Gary Oldman still's got some gas in the tank for this.
I think you start off with Hemsworth, and then later years of Ozzy, Joe Biden maybe plays him.
Thanks for that, Chuy.
Yeah.
God, that's a good line.
Injecting a little
Very
humor
envious.
into that. It's time for Rock and Roll News Junior. You know, Rock and Roll News Junior is for the kids on the way to the dropout zone right now, safely strapped into the back of mom's, Rivian, whatever I don't even know the numbers of the Rivians, to be honest with you. They're strapped in there on the way, the Rivian pickup truck on the way to the dropout zone to go to school, do a little learning and stuff like that. Hey, kids, stay in school. Read lots of books. I cannot emphasize. I could never get any of my kids to read, but I cannot, and I read dozens of books every year. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to read. You're never going to be a great writer unless you're a great reader. And you can quote me on that. So read lots of books and start a band.
It's important, kids, to read.
And stop vaping.
I don't. I'm not very good at
and
it.
Get off of Spotify. Tell your parents to spring for a Tidal subscription.
No more Spotify or Elf bars.
Tell them you want full resolution FLAC files.
All your friends are on Spotify. That's why you want to be on Spotify. But the lead move would be to say, ooh. And you be the leader and bring them to a new place.
It's only going to cost your parents like $8 a month or something.
You don't want to see
Tidal.
Billie Eilish in a regular bathtub shower combination?
No.
Golden shower.
All right.
This is
Chuy.
for the kids. Come on.
I'm
Chuy.
talking golden bathtub.
Stop.
Chuy.
Give him an extra sound effect.
That's
Well, great.
That's my new
Now they're all
favorite.
meditating and they've gone to sleep.
That's my new favorite one.
I don't know, of course, and I apologize to the parents out there. The only Rock and Roll News Junior, since all the kids in BTS are doing military service now, I can't do stories on them. I've got to do Taylor Swift. She makes the headlines every day. But this is more of a Bananarama headline.
Oh.
I don't know why Bananarama has come out of the shadows in 2024 to complain about the fact that Taylor Swift had a hit last year, I think it was, but it was recorded years earlier with a song called Cruel Summer, but it wasn't a cover of their song, but they're making headlines today saying, hey, we wish she'd covered our song instead. Yeah, well, why wouldn't you?
That's controversy?
Yeah. They're trying to make some controversy.
When did Bananarama become uncool?
But it's a cool song. And the only reason I bring up the story to encourage the kids out there to listen to some Bananarama. Well, do they have any other hits?
I mean, got us on the mountaintop.
Wasn't that
fire.
Cool for Summer?
No, that's Venus.
Oh, I'm Your Venus. That's a cover song itself.
Correct.
Who did that one? Frankie Valli or somebody? Or
Yeah, something.
Or Art, the Crazy World of Art. No,
Come on,
Crazy
Bananarama
World
was
of Art.
a put-together band, okay? No offense to them, but there wasn't like
It was
three
kind
people
of
that
like
found each other.
a girl, Millie Vanilli.
I mean, they were a production band. They were
it was like
a
the
Menudo
Go-Go's have got
or
some hits. Let's put out a.
Yes, they were like, hey, we need.
But who did Venus? The original that song. I'm your joy. I'm your fire.
I don't know.
Was it the Crazy World of Arthur Brown?
Bob,
No, he did.
I think we're confusing the kids right now.
I am the god of hellfire.
Well, now you did. The
and
last
I
thing you
bring
need.
you fire.
You don't need kids in the back seat
True story.
yelling at their parents.
True story.
I am the god of hellfire.
True story.
Tell us.
In the late 1970s, I was offered. I was working on a show, a national syndicated program for the Westinghouse Group called. It was at a nighttime 6:30. It was called. What did they call that? Prime adjacent. You know, the sixth before prime time.
Pre-prime.
It was pre-prime. It was the prime. There was another word for it. Anyway, PM Magazine, and they offered me to do a story on a guy, and I go, "Who do you want me to do?" I got a lot of stories I'm working on right now. They go, "Would you like to do a story on Arthur Brown?" I go, "Yeah." What am I? Are you going to put me on a plane to London? What are we going to do? He goes, "No, he's a carpenter. He lives in West Lynn in Austin."
What?
And in the 70s, Arthur Brown lived here in Austin.
And he was a carpenter?
Over by the graffiti castle. He didn't live in the castle. He should have lived in the castle. Did you know that, Matt?
I didn't know
The
it.
god of hellfire lived in Austin. He may still be here. I don't know.
He was a carpenter that lived next to a king?
He was doing it. We were like, well, what are you doing now?
Whoa.
You were the god of hellfire. You had a #1 hit. You remember that song, Chuy? Fire, you're gonna burn.
You're gonna burn.
Fire.
Hey.
It was a big hit. Anyway, yeah, I'm doing carpentry work.
Dang.
Okay. Not going to be much of a story.
1900s were crazy.
Anyway, he may still live in town. I don't know if he's still alive or not. If anybody knows Arthur Brown, give him a rock and roll news salute. I don't know. Well, he'll be the day's rock and roll news salute.
There it is.
The one-hit wonder, Arthur Brown. He has a lot of respect.
What, you didn't even give him the wole shout out? You just cut it off halfway?
Anyway, I
Brown.
did a story on him, and it was kind of cool, but...
Anything interesting?
They didn't make the national, though. It didn't make the national broadcast. Some of my stories made the national broadcast.
Yeah.
Like I did a story on the police.
See, that should make national news.
When they were puppies, when Sting was still a baby.
When they were just cadets.
When they were literally.
Not police yet.
Bob defunded the band,
Wow.
The Police.
And that one
really upset the governor.
That went national. I got paid for that. I still get some mailbox money on that one.
That's back when you used to be on George Soros's payroll, right?
Yeah. Wait.
Oh, wait, you're in the media. You still are.
Did you give
Never
the
mind.
Crazy World of Arthur Brown their salute?
Yeah. But then he turned it off right away.
It's a great song. All right.
Thank you, Arthur Brown.
All right. That's the rock and roll news. Sing us out, Chuy.
All right.
That can happen to you, though, man. One day, you're top of the pops. And the next day, you're hammering nails. And I don't even mean in the good way. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Hammering nails. Crazy world of Arthur Brown. But he did it. He made it. Top of the pops, top of the charts. Hey, rock and roll saved my life, and I'm glad I was a part of it. And I got to meet people like Arthur Brown and Sting. And someday I hope to meet Lenny Kravitz, but I don't know. I don't think that's happening. I think his people are going to keep me away from him. I don't think that's fair. Who will I meet today? You never know. Look around at South by Southwest. There's stars everywhere. Hey, I'll see you.
I'll see ya.
Bye.
Mornings with Matt and Bob are powered by Chuy. You're surviving South by Southwest, and you can find us online. Stroke brain, stop talking to me. Here it comes back.
Away, devil.
Away,
Cast
devil.
the demons away.
It's the perfect time to remind everybody. Make sure that you stay on top of your blood pressure, and make sure that you stay on. Go see the doctor occasionally.
Right.
Remember, you don't have to be old to have a stroke. I had one in the middle of the afternoon with no sides coming up, and it occasionally still rears its ugly head. There's the. What I was trying to say is
public service
on Instagram, Matt and Bob FM, and in just a little bit, I wish I had it. I'm going to try to edit it here quickly and get it up. I did something last night, and I want to direct some people. It's going to be some people. It's not going to be everybody. I realize it, and I'm loath. Let's sound like KUT people. I am loath to talk about things that I think are too exclusive. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because we like to be all inclusive with our show. But
Right, we don't like to be elitist,
last night
yeah.
I did something and it made me understand Chuy better. And
That's a good thing.
it made me understand how just a regular Tuesday night is for Bob Fonseca, because I went to an insanely exclusive event.
I'm not.
But I understand, sometimes I'm like, just Chuy, why do you get so excited about some of this dumb, in my mind, I'm like,
Yeah.
some of this dumb stuff. This is all like influencer working this up or whatever.
Right.
And I'm like, that burger's not going to be that much better than it. But I realize it's not really about that the burger is that much better.
No, it's the flex. It's about getting the selfie. It's about being in the experience, having the experience that no one else is having, right? Is that what it is?
No, it's for me, it's a superior quality food.
Last night I got to go to a whiskey tasting. And I've been to some before, and I'm always like, why do I want to go to a whiskey tasting?
You like whiskey?
Like, I'm not a huge whiskey fan. My wife loves whiskey. I'm fine with it.
I've come to love it.
Well, and you and I.
Right, and in Ireland, we would do.
And then what's kind of funny is that this is like the anniversary of when we would usually be in Ireland right now.
That just made me sad.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. We would be in Ireland, wouldn't we?
House of Suntory, which makes some of the best whiskey in the entire
I have
world.
3 or 4 of those
I know you do.
bottles, yeah.
I know you do. And when I was looking and when I was talking to the brand ambassador last night about the prices of some of those bottles, it really made me understand you differently. Why you've got money.
No, I get their blended $30 bottle.
All of their bottles are blended. That's what I learned about Japanese
I didn't
whiskey.
know. It's the aging. It's the aging.
They're all aged and they're all blended.
But there's
I
more.
learned this last night because I went and sat with a brand ambassador. So, a bar that I love called the Grackle, which is a bit of a dive, but it has turned into probably the best whiskey bar in the country.
Okay.
That's my opinion and I say that because it's approachable. It's not a hoity-toity whiskey bar where everyone's in there with cigars and whatever. You can walk in there with a T-shirt. There's a big sign out front that says "All are welcome." Don't bring your homophobia or your racism into our place. You're right. Well, there's not a place for it. This is a place for all Austinites. But there's punk rock, tattoo dudes. There's country boys, whatever, and people go by there, drink some whiskey, and take off. And it's everyone's friendly to each other. I love that bar. Right in the back where they used to have darts. Mm-hmm. They have built a temporary Kissa. Kissa is what you have in your house.
Why is it temporary?
Because they just built it with this. They're doing this. So I've never gone to the South by pop-ups, activations, all that. I'm not.
I know.
And it's not even saying like, oh, I'm too good for it. I'm saying sometimes you have to fight or you have to get these RSVPs. Well, they're doing something kind of unique because usually they're always free to the public and there's these giant. They're charging, and it is not cheap.
Okay.
I think it's $1.40 when it's all said and done per person.
But that's with the tasting and everything.
Yeah.
You're getting a lot of whiskey.
Here's the thing. Last night I got to taste a bottle of whiskey, and I'm not a connoisseur.
I'm not either.
So
Clearly,
if you ask me, oh my God, how was it? I will tell you this.
It got me there.
I will tell you, I don't know in comparison, but here's what I do know. It was part of the fun to go because the guy presented us a bottle and goes, this is one of 3 bottles in the entire world. Oof. There are 3 bottles of this. I have one.
Did you say prove it?
Well, no, that seemed like a rude thing to do to the host.
Okay.
There was a really awesome guy there named Rashid. He's a brand ambassador for Suntory. He's super into not only his brand and whiskey, but also into Japanese culture and the things that he's learned. He goes to Japan twice a year.
We gotta go.
Let's go.
We really do. I got
go.
so excited about stuff talking to him last night, and there were some really, really nice people in this time. There were 1, 2, 3 couples total. Just three couples total. It's these really small seatings. It's open to the public, but like I say, it's like $1.40 a person.
I hope you took pictures of the room.
You're looking at a $300 sit down.
Yeah.
If you're going with a couple. What I will say is it worth it? If you're not into whiskey and into that, it's probably not worth it at all. if you're really into whiskey and you want to be able to go like, oh, I got to walk through some of these whiskeys. I had a bunch of stuff that I'll never, ever, ever have because it's not even available for sale.
But how much whiskey can you consume? Like, I have 2 shots and I forget my name.
Well, probably all told, it's around 2 shots. Where they pour what's called drams, which is a tinier. No, way under that. Really small tastings, but you're tasting a lot of different whiskeys.
And you're smelling it, and you're having that whole experience.
But the biggest part was just this guy so excited and telling you. Like, to me, I liked it because it almost felt like it felt like a way cooler TED Talk. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But while I was there and sitting there,
were they playing vinyl?
I was like, yes. They got
nice.
They got a vinyl system in there. Now, I'm not going to tell you because I'm sure you'll complain.
I'm not going to complain.
Their thing is
vintage gear or what?
Look, they're setting it up so that you had the feel of a Kiss. So they're not building
I'm thinking opening mine up to the public.
If you want to go to,
you should.
The best listening room in the town is Equipment Room, right?
Yeah, if you can get in. I know the owner. I can't get in. I don't.
He can't get in.
Every time I've called, like,
I can't get in.
It's like, yeah, no, it's not going to happen for you today. And that's why I built my own version of the Equipment Room.
Do you know anything about Line Magnetic?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've not listened to it.
So they had a big tube amplifier, Line Magnetic, bunches of whiskey.
Are they playing jazz or what are they doing?
Mainly jazz last night.
Man,
and then
Coltrane would sound good.
After a whole bunch of jazz, then all of a sudden they put on Lou Reed's Transformer. Kicked it up a notch.
I've got a speaker corner pressing of that from Germany that will blow your mind.
The little Jimi Hendrix experience.
Blow your mind, Chuy. Walk on the wild side.
But here's where I understood Chuy last night. Is that at one point I had this bit of a warm glow, and this is a tough week for all of us with South by here. A lot of our building, people are working 18 hours. There's stuff happening, and then I got kids at home, spring break, whatever. It's nuts. So I was able to
check out
for like a 2-hour period last night. I was able to completely check out.
Nice.
Which the value on that, there's no dollar value
priceless.
you can put.
When you're a parent, that's priceless.
My wife got hooked up with this because as a thank you for something she did. I think if she had told me, hey, I just spent $300 on whiskey tasting, I'd have been like, there's no way I can enjoy this. I'm furious, right? Mm-hmm. Instead, she said, do you want to go? And I was like, in my mind, for some reason, it was at 5 o'clock. I don't know why, but last night at like 4:45, I'm like, when are we going? And she was like, where? And I'm like, to this thing.
Yeah.
She's like, honey, it's at 8. And I was like, at 8?
8? I got to get up in the morning.
Have you lost your damn mind?
It's going to be over at 10.
No wonder you were late this morning.
Yeah. And I thought, oh, God, I just, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do this. It's down on 6th Street. There's not going to be ample free parking. Bob would roll his eyes at me.
Now you're living my life.
But here's the thing. You go into a bar you're used to, but then they open this secret door.
I love secret doors.
They built this little tiny tasting room in there. We sit on the sofa. There's really nice couples in there that we were chatting with. And start getting this story time while you're tasting stuff. I disappeared. It was really nice for my wife because she, like I said, she loves whiskey. So she was way in it. And then a couple people we were there with were really into whiskeys. And they knew stuff that was insane, you know?
Yeah, I don't know anything about it.
They were like, oh, well, because like the whole whiskey movement in Japan started because the Japanese kept basically taking over American ships on the high seas and beheading American soldiers. Oh. And so we said, hey, can we make good with you with a treaty? And one of the things we did is we sent them like 5,000 barrels of American rye. Mm-hmm. And that's what started all this. But they were talking about...
So how did the tea rooms become the whiskey room? Like, Kisa started out as tea rooms, right? And now
guess what?
They're whiskey rooms.
I know the answer to that, but I'm not going to tell you on air.
I'm looking for a hot opium den.
I'm going to present
They got any South by opium dens?
So I'm going to present you with a gift here, Bob Fonseca.
Oh, my God.
Look at that.
Oh.
Because these are only made for the people who spent the money to go.
Oh.
They gave us a bunch of nice gifts. You cannot buy these anywhere. They were made just for this event.
That's a Yupung, too.
Yeah, well, when I saw what it was and the exact cut, I was like, this is your cut.
That's my Yupung.
This is for the Yamazaki.
Yeah.
In the Hakashu.
Yeah.
There you go, my friend.
Oh, man. Which one?
I've given you both.
Well, what about Chuy?
Well, I thought that
know
you would
don't wear a lot
the
of hats,
green
but-
one. I know that you'll wear to an Austin FC match,
No,
and then
I'm wearing-
black.
Yeah.
You could give one to
that's-
you if you want to. I brought them both to you. I knew that they would look good in the Kissa and all that stuff. But,
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm really sad because I went out to a whiskey tasting last night.
Oh,
Looks
yeah,
great.
that
Looks
looks
great. Just
good.
leave it sized like that. I felt bad because then I overslept this morning, and I was like, you guys are going to be furious when you know that I overslept, but I was also out until almost midnight
God, that feels good.
at this.
I'll forgive it if you're doing something cool and fun. And when it's your family, you know, and you're helping someone with it, I don't forgive that.
Well, I'll put a link to. If I know it's not for everybody, but I know that a couple of our listeners out there might want to go to this thing, and I'll put a link in our stories here when we get to commercial break.
Why are we all drawn to that culture? That's like
I think because it's
a superior
organized.
culture.
I think it's because it's organized.
and I've never been, and I'm so drawn to that culture. And I don't know what I'm waiting
Japanese
for.
culture?
Yeah.
It's a better. I mean,
I know.
it's where we should have been going.
Yeah. How come we can't buy panties in a vending machine?
It's where we should have gone. But look at us now, fighting over stupid stuff.
I think too the Japanese really have an appreciation for experience. So even like,
Right.
you know how they make tea, it's a 1 hour experience to make tea. We just are like, we got to go. We got to get back to work. Let's
Get
go.
the
Come on.
Lipton. Yeah.
You get the lift.
Wait, Arizona, this better be only 99 cents.
Thank you so much for thinking of me, Matt.
Yeah.
I'm going to wear that to
Well,
the
I thought
event,
of
our
you, Chewy.
South by Southwest party that we
We'll
got
talk
going
about
on
that
today.
in 60 seconds.
I'm going to be there.
You tell people about QC, and then we're going to hit the Austin area headlines.
Lean in now for some thick headlines.
All right. We're back, baby. We're back. The City of Austin Police Association has agreed to resume contract talks. The first public bargaining session is scheduled for, I believe, next Wednesday, or is it today? The old agreement expired a year ago, and they never came to the table. I think that the police department is very mad at the city, and I think the city was mad at the police department, and then I think the police have become maybe feel dejected like a lover with just even the citizens of the city, and I think the citizens of the city have felt like, well, if you don't love me, I don't love you. I don't know, but you can't. I'm not sure that you can have a well-functioning city if you don't have at least some communication going on between your police force. Now, I'm going to be upset when they finally get this worked out, because right now I think part of the protest is I think that the police have decided, well, we're not going to do, if you're going to stress us, then we're not going to do. And the thing is, I've been driving around with an inspired inspection sticker for a while. And I've even looked cops in the eyes, and they're like, I'm not getting out of my car for a $10 ticket. It's not going to happen, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
So I'm a little reluctant for them to work this out.
I know.
Because I'm going to have to get that. I'm going to have to one of these days. Do you know that I drive by Terry's Burnett Road inspection at least twice a week? At least twice a week. And every time I do, I go, God, I got to get the car inspected. But do I? Nah, I don't want to go today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pure laziness.
I know. I was out with Sawyer Stull not a couple nights ago, but a few weeks ago. And we were downtown at night after that dinner that we had.
At Conjay?
At Conjay. And he wanted to go take me to this bar, and then we were trying to park. I was trying to park my car, and I go, my credit card never works with that ATX parking system for some reason. I don't know why. I can't. Just park. They go, what are you worried about? You think they can afford meter maids anymore?
Yeah.
There's no meter maids,
No.
Bob. There's not?
Well, there are plenty during working hours, which would be like 8 to 5. But after that, they don't.
I didn't get a ticket.
Nice.
But did I just indemnify myself?
No, here's what you have to remember about Austin and parking meter maids and all that stuff, is that if you go to one parking garage downtown, you're going to pay, what, $30 to park? The ticket's $25, and you don't get them every night. So you just look at it as like a 4 times a year. It's $100. It's a $100 parking fee for the city
It's
for
a
the
life
year.
tax.
Yeah, it's a life tax. Glad we could hook everybody up with this. Folks, we don't talk about shootings or stabbings on this show.
Not
There's
too
no
much.
positive in there, and you don't want to hear about it in the morning. But I do want to let you know that in what is one of the most Runbergian stories you've heard in a while, there was a stabbing, and I love every element, because this is one of those things that this is a sentence that delivers so much for Austin. And if you're not from Austin, you won't fully understand it. Like if you're here for South by Southwest, great. I'm sorry that some people go, don't stay or leave or goodbye. Yeah. We love having you here. We appreciate your dollars. But also, you're not...
Don't mess with our women, though.
You're not local enough to get
ours.
this. Are you ready?
I called him.
Austin Travis County EMS and Austin police officers responded to a stabbing at 6:43 p.m. to the Popeyes at North Lamar and Runberg. That sentence, there's so many
layers.
It's like an onion. It is an onion.
It's an onion that
in
needs
one
to be
sentence.
peeled. Yeah.
It makes us feel normal again.
We don't need any of the rest. Yeah, you know how they kept saying, like, oh, nature is healing after what? I feel like Runberg is Runberg again. I mean, stabbing at... There's other restaurants around there, but it doesn't have the same appeal as the stabbing at... And I apologize. I mean, there's a human life involved. They live. They're fine. They just got... And who amongst us hasn't been stabbed at the Popeyes?
Right.
It's part of the process.
Love that stabbing at Popeyes.
You want to be stabbed before or after the seasoned fries? What your choice?
Look, when the 2-piece is $1.99, I mean, the cost comes out somewhere.
It comes with two sides. The sides are rice and beans, macaroni and cheese, a stabbing, dirty rice. Sometimes people are like in a hurry and they don't know what they want. They're like, fries and stabbing. In the kidney.
Love that stabbing at Popeyes.
You know, it used to be called Popeye's Fried Chicken, but they changed the name to Popeye's Louisiana Chicken and Stabbery. Shout out to you, Popeyes, for keeping it real all these years.
Excuse me. Yeah, I just got my order. Here's my receipt. I didn't get my stabbing. It wasn't on the tray.
You would complain. I paid for it.
It's right here.
And if you're someone who's like, I don't want a stabbing with my chicken, well, why don't you go to one of your influencer bitch places like Hattie B's or some other place like, oh, look at me. I'm at Gus's and I don't get stabbed. Well, enjoy. I go to Popeyes for the free show, which is, I used to live at the Popeyes at MLK and Airport. I never, ever once went there and there was not some kind of fight happening in the showroom. You may call it the dining room. I called it the showroom. There was always somebody yelling at somebody or somebody talking to themselves very loudly or a mom beating the S out of her kids. I don't care what it was. I sat there. I enjoyed my spicy 2-piece and I watched the fight. There was a guy that pulled a gun on me there once. He was going through the drive-thru the wrong direction. Yeah. And I pulled up and we were bumper to bumper and I was looking at him and he was a young kid and I was like, dude, you're the idiot going around the wrong way. Yeah. And he kept moving, telling me go back. Yeah. But he was a young kid. He was like 12 years old driving a truck with his girlfriend. I'm like, dude, I trust him. I'm not going to succumb to you trying to be this testosterone-y young kid. I'm an adult. I've seen some ass.
How did he place his order?
And he was just going around. I think he was cutting a corner.
Gotcha.
And I was like, and I just looked at him and I go, move back like that. And then he reached down and he showed me a gun and he pointed at me and I put up my hand like, oh, my bad. Didn't realize the way we were communicating. And I backed up and I let him through. And he laughed and his girlfriend laughed. And was it emasculating? Yes. Am I still alive? Yes.
By the way,
love that violence at Popeyes.
There's a Hattie B's at on the Miracle Mile at Planet Hollywood in Vegas.
Dude, I have a new Instagram influencer that I'm in love with because she actually reviews, and she was talking about the best chicken in Austin. Yeah. And she was just like, Hattie B's, what's the deal? I know you guys just opened. Are you trying to work out the kinks? What a mid-experience. And I was like, I'm in love with you.
Oh, boy.
I'm in love with the real talk.
I never gave my review of Hattie B's, did I?
Emma Stone went viral yesterday, and as a result,
she's America's sweetheart, isn't she?
She's America's sweetheart, but right now she's Austin's sweetheart. You know, she owns a house. She and her husband live here in Austin. They moved here in...
we got to get together.
They moved here in 2022.
Emma, pull up, Emma.
But I think this is rude. Some drone dude sent his drone over her house.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
People move to Austin to kind of be, like, they want to chill out. Can we ask a favor of the city? when we have celebrities come here that decide to move here, let them just be people. She's got like a, I don't know, multi-million-dollar mansion there in Terrytown. Now, after me saying, let it be people, I did look at the TikTok video that went viral. Looks pretty nice, Emma. Looks pretty nice.
Not gated
Wait,
or
what
anything?
does?
Not behind a wall?
Well, no, I think Emma
Even
moved
Wayne
here to be
Newton's
one of the
behind a wall.
people. She
What?
moved here to be one of the people. One of the people with an Oscar for Best Actress.
Just a regular person
Just a
in a mansion.
regular, normal, everyday person with an Oscar for Best Actress. Just like you, me, and you. And Chuy, me, and you.
Well, we have awards.
Hey, there's no difference between her and the person bagging your groceries at Whole Foods as long as that person bagging their groceries at Whole Foods also has an Oscar for Best Actress.
Emma, let's go grab a bite.
She's paying.
She's on the way.
Hey, you better make a reservation for 3. You, Emma, and her Oscar statue for Best Actress.
America's Sweetheart.
Which one
right
did she
here.
get it for? La La Land?
She got one for La La Land, but she also just got one for Poor Things.
Oh, I need to see that still.
I don't know what it's about.
You don't know what it's about.
I've seen the preview 1,000 times,
Well, how about this?
and it looks kind of like Tim Burton to me.
You know what it's about?
No offense
It's
if
about
you're
having
listening,
the
Emma.
best actress in it. That's what it's about.
Yeah, it is.
You need more than that?
Give me the.
So you don't want to support a local Austin tonight who's just trying to make it. A young Austin actress who's just trying to get by.
Sorry, Emma.
And cut her teeth in the business, and you don't want to support.
I hang out with a young.
So what's the deal?
What? Give me the TV guide. One
Is
line.
that your thing? Are you so loyal to Melissa Barrera that you can't hang out with Emma Stone now?
I think we can all get together. What is the one?
So you get all the hot.
give me.
You get all the hot Hollywood actresses, and Chuy and I get what?
Even Bob Schneider's jealous now. What? Give me the one-line TV guide synopsis of Poor Things. One line.
Featuring
One line.
featuring Austin's sweetheart Emma Stone.
This is a movie.
What else do you need, dude?
No, I
you
can't.
do
I
in
can't
one
get
line.
from the previews.
Have you guys seen The Curse?
what the concept
Are you
is.
watching The
I already
Curse?
finished it.
No, I haven't watched it yet.
I already finished.
If you didn't already love Emma Stone, which how could you not? She's Austin's sweetheart.
America's.
I loved
Austin's
her in The
sweetheart.
Curse. I don't know why. For some reason, she played some posh.
It was kind of, but she's an impossible to like character, but you still were kind of hot for her,
Yeah,
weren't you?
I don't know why. I guess I want.
She's great,
some
and that's
abuse.
why if I see her out, I'm going to nod my hat at her, and then I will nod my hat at her Best Actress Oscar that I hope she carries around the city everywhere.
Brought back to life by an unorthodox scientist, a young woman runs off with a lawyer in a whirlwind adventure across the continent.
Okay.
Oh, me? This little thing? Oh, that's just my Oscar statue.
That's it.
She's friends with Mark Ruffalo.
She's like besties with Taylor Swift.
And Ryan Gosling.
But she's just like everybody else in Austin.
Come through, Emma.
And by that, I mean,
I didn't know
she
that.
laughs at you if you're from Pflugerville. I don't know where to go
I
with
didn't
it.
know that she was
That's
here.
today's. We're way behind.
Wow.
That was
Oh,
today's
wow.
Austin area headlines
Good job.
brought to you by Oscar-winning actress Emma Stone. Ladies and gentlemen, we got through an entire thing of Austin news without talking really about South by. Congrats to us. We're back in a moment. Are you ever going to retire? Bob?
Probably not.
Why not?
No, I just got to keep earning, man.
Downsizing isn't an
Like
option?
we got into careers that don't have pensions. I don't know if you noticed that.
There's no careers with pensions anymore, I don't think.
Yeah,
I
that
think
doesn't
there
work
are.
for
I think you can work for the state, work for the
Or
city.
you could be a fire
I know plenty of
fire
people
department,
that
cops,
get a pension.
Really?
What do they
Yeah.
do?
Not anybody that worked for Dell.
Not radio or
Yeah.
television. Maybe even television has.
But will they even be?
There's no pension. There's no mailbox money.
I don't even know what that
For
is.
radio.
What's a
But will
pension?
any pension even be
pension?
solvent? Or will they all become insolvent because nobody can support a pension anymore, can they?
Like the Air Force still pays my dad.
Well, I think what you're saying is if you have some connection to a government job, you may have a pension.
Right.
Because they can continue to to raise dollars via tax. But no business, I think all businesses realize, we're not going to be able to make money in perpetuity and we cannot support a pension. Right. A pension, Chuy, in the old day was, hey, we're going to always be making money and a profit. So if you give us enough years, then when you retire, we'll continue to send you small amounts of money that you can retire on.
Yeah, percentage of whatever.
Because we'll still be making money. The problem is a lot of these companies went out of business. Like my mother had a friend who was 63, almost 64 years old. She had worked for Enron. She had a pension.
But I think...
And then a year before she was set to retire, after working there for 22 years or something, she suddenly found out she had no retirement savings.
How optimistic were the older generations to think
they were super optimistic.
Super optimistic.
You thought things were really going well.
I don't know when the 401k was created, but it seemed like in the 90s, every company, everybody was talking about 401k, and that was like a way for the companies to get rid of pensions and
Correct.
put it on your back.
Yes.
You make the investment, you take your own money and put it away for yourself.
Which might be a smarter way to do it.
Except people don't know there's decisions to be made there, and they didn't know what decisions to make with regard to which direction to point those investments.
So I've been paying really close attention to this lately. I have...
but I don't know. I think you asked me the question. I have to continue to earn. Because I don't have a pension. There is no...
And you haven't been saving.
Well, sure I have.
Just not enough.
But I got you got tax liabilities there.
Well, like if you're not retiring, what hope is there for me?
No.
There's right now...
Zero.
I'm going to tell you that the hope for... this has come up because I have relatives. The lesbian laws. Mm-hmm. My mom's moms. Mm-hmm. Are unable to work due to medical issues, but are unable to earn and cannot live on their retirement. So and I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
It stresses me out. It keeps me up a little bit. And my poor wife goes, well, it's not your responsibility. It's my family. And like, well, we're married. Of course, it's our responsibility.
Right.
They're family. You don't let family live on the street.
Right.
If you can help it. Right.
Right.
And I've been paying a lot closer attention to these articles that pop up about retirement, things like that. Let's see. Let's start right here. This is from CBS. The nation's retirement system has left behind the bottom 90% of workers.
That's not even the bottom. Let's just consider that everybody.
I mean, think about that. That's currently who is going to have a difficult time meeting a standard. By standard, the way they define that is, do you have a drop off in the standard of your living when you retire? Mm-hmm. That's it. And all but about 10% of earners are saying now you're going to have a drop off in your standard of living. Now, some people are already prepared for that. They're like, when I retire, I'll have to
downsize,
I'll have to downsize and tighten it up and whatever.
That
but
makes sense.
I think a lot of people think, I retire and then I keep living my life. But
I love the people, I'm going to retire and travel.
Yeah,
that's not expensive.
Yes.
That's the generation that was optimistic.
That's not expensive.
That had pensions and weird stuff.
The nation needs a bold plan, a Gray New Deal, which she's calling it, kind of named after the Great New Deal, right? To shore up retirement for millions of Americans. Only 10% of Americans between the ages of 62 and 70 are both retired and financially stable. The majority of older Americans are either retired but living below the standard of living they enjoyed while working, or continuing to work because they can't afford to stop working. And a bold 30% of Americans lack any retirement savings, meaning if you have $1 in an account, that takes you out of that. That means you have no money anywhere. 3 in 10 Americans who are 59 or older have not put away any money in retirement. Now, it's very easy, I think, for a lot of people to go, well, you knew it was coming. Mm-hmm. That's on you. I used to also, I think, sometimes get caught in those thinking traps. I have 2 in-laws who a vicious cancer and a horrible stroke have decimated everything that they were about, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't think they were ever going to retire high on the hog. They lived in what we would call very modest means, but any of the means they had were completely wiped out in the last 3 years by illness. and will be in perpetuity. They'll never catch up with what's happening. I also looked into something else. There's something. This is, how no good deed goes unpunished?
Mm-hmm. That's what they say, but I've seen lots of.
In 1958, President Eisenhower signed something called the National Defense Education Act. The Ruskies, you guys familiar with the Ruskies?
Oh, yeah.
You guys, did you guys ever see that documentary called Red Dawn?
Yes.
Okay. That's how we all learned about the Ruskies, right?
Swayze.
From Red Dawn.
I know the guy who wrote that.
Wolverine!
Swayze's hardest movie until Roadhouse.
Well, it was definitely T. Thomas Howell. What's his name?
Yeah.
C. Thomas Howell. I'm going to say this. If you went to see Thomas Howell today and said, which movie are you more proud of? Red Dawn
Or Soul Man?
or Soul Man?
Tough one. I
think he's going to turn around and walk away and go, I don't know what you're talking
I
about.
have no idea.
C. Thomas Howell, if you don't know, in the 80s, white young teen actor who agreed to a movie where he pretends to be black to get into college because it's easier to get into college, I guess, if you're black. I don't know. It was a not well thought out movie. And it's uncomfortable to talk about.
He painted himself black.
He paints himself black with like shoe polish or something and goes to college.
I think there were a lot of those movies. There was Just One of the Guys as well in the 80s.
Well, we were all trying to see, life from both sides, but let's just say that it was handled awkwardly. Can we say that? And then say that as an adult, just the concept is uncomfortable. I don't know if I could sit through it again. I mean, I watched it when I was a kid. I'm sure I did.
KLBJ did the premiere of it.
Really?
Yeah. I remember. I was promotions director.
Oh, God.
I think I still got some posters for it somewhere.
Don't associate.
And we did
yourself.
Howard the Duck, too, by the way, just in our,
A Duck Man.
In 1958, Eisenhower, the Ruskies had just sent Sputnik into space.
Yeah,
they were
the
winning the
space
space race, and we were panicked. Americans were panicked that we had fallen behind. We had lost our very new position in the world. We had not been world leaders really until just after World War I, when we were helping rebuild Europe. So we were very new to being a superpower. And the other superpower, the Ruskies, are now beating us. So Eisenhower establishes a federal funding for higher education, made substantial funds available for low-cost student loans, boosting public and private colleges and universities. But the basis of all this was we need to know more about math and science. We need to know more about math and science. We need to know more about math and science. And one of the things that it resulted in that was push all young men into math and sciences. Mm-hmm. And let's start taking some of the ladies and pushing that. And it decimated at something called home finance or home ec. Mm-hmm. And home ec then after that kind of just became baking. Mm. But it used to be home economics, how to run your house.
Right. How to balance a checkbook.
We've talked about it on the show before. The average young person graduates high school and does not know what escrow means. They don't know how to obtain good credit. They don't know what good credit does for them.
We're still operating on some 40s system of education.
Well, no, a 1958 system of education.
50s
I just told you. And
what does this have to do with retirement?
Well, because I'm
not coming at you. I'm just asking where we're going with this.
Does the average young person today know how essential it is that you take even at $1,000 that you're going to spend on going out? If you put just $1,000 in something like a Roth IRA and let it compound from the time that you're 18 to 68, now you've got some real money, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think the average young person understands the expense of a spring break trip. I want to go with my friends down to Padre. I saved up $1,200. I'm going to go. I earned the money. I deserve it, and I should treat myself. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm saying if you understood that, and in retirement, this trip is going to cost around $60,000.
Yeah.
By that I mean
but you're not living your life.
You could have had $60,000 for that same amount of money if you had put it in something more stable like a Roth. You know what I'm saying?
The balance between living your life and
you got to steal.
Saving for retirement.
You have to steal. From corporations, of course, because they're mortgaging your future.
512-834-0937. Are you going to retire?
What does that look like?
What is your what are you thinking?
I'd love to just be in a retirement home with the boys, hitting the cart and playing Xbox.
What is a retirement home? Like Sun
really?
City?
It could just be like a 5-bedroom house that we all pitch in on.
I don't even know what the word retirement home means or that phrase means. What does that mean?
What do you mean? It's a
like
giant...
you're some kind of institution?
Yeah, have you never seen a retirement home or know
Are you
what
talking
it
about
is?
an old folks home? But they don't call them that. Are you talking about assisted living? You're going to have somebody assist you with your golf clubs? What are you...
Yeah, an old folks home where you're old and you have a room.
Wait,
What is confusing?
He's not
to
talking
him?
about a retirement community. He's talking about, like, think about a sober house, but it's old people.
where are those?
They're
Anywhere?
probably going.
I feel like this is like some kind of 1950s Annie kind of
A boarding house.
Daddy Warbuck
A
situation.
boarding house.
Where would you go?
I didn't propose a new thing. I was talking about a retirement community. What do you call them?
I don't know. I know there's
So
something.
how did you correct?
I know
me
there's
with not
something called.
knowing?
I know in Georgetown there's like something called Sun City, and I know
Right.
there's a place in BK where there's like affordable housing for seniors or
Right.
something that can still do their own
There's
thing.
one Ron and Mueller. Why are you...
Okay, what is that called?
What do you mean?
Is that what is it? What is it?
Senior
what are the-
living, I think. It's something apartments. Senior living?
Senior living.
You're acting like you haven't encountered any of these things or looked into it.
I don't
with
know anybody
your
that's in
parents
one.
Or
My dad's in a memory assisted living facility.
Yeah. Well, that's a different situation.
Yeah. Okay. So it has to have a golf course attached, is what you're saying.
no, I don't think so.
Not at
I just
all.
want to live in a house with the boys and play FIFA. And
You want to
Rocket
be in a
League.
group home.
I think that'd be best because who's going to call 911 when you're just alone?
The cat? You haven't trained Clausby to dial 911?
I mean, how do you see retirement? Just
Hey.
you and your lady out in the country, maybe?
I don't know.
Because Ben Shapiro is saying that don't even think about retirement. It's dumb. Retirement is dumb unless you're disabled of some sort. And he's catching a lot of, flack for it. Let's listen a little bit. I'm going to skip ahead here just to
Okay.
hear what he has to
This
say.
is Ben Shapiro. What's the name of his thing that he started?
I don't know.
He used to work for Breitbart. He left Breitbart. He started his own, and he's in and out of the news. He's the guy that talks like this, right?
He's on the Talk Really Fast show, so you can't tell that I'm wrong.
He's on Mad Money?
Network.
No, and I will tell you this right now, like the people on our show that flip back and forth between AM and FM are going to be really stoked because Ben Shapiro is a hero of the AM station.
I think it's the first time he's been played on the show besides that WAP thing
where
we
he read those
dissected.
lyrics
Yeah.
to Wet Ass.
Let's hear him.
The population is aging way too fast for that. They're not enough high-income taxpayers even to pay for the kinds of bills that Joe Biden wants to pay for here. And let's be real about this. It's insane that we haven't raised the retirement age in the United States. It's totally crazy. Joe Biden, if that were the case, Joe Biden should not be running for president. Okay, Joe Biden is 81 years old. The retirement age in the United States at which you start to receive Social Security and you are eligible for Medicare is 65. Joe Biden
not true.
has technically been eligible for Social Security and Medicare for 16 years, and he wants to continue in office until he is 86, which is 19 years past when he would be eligible for retirement. No one in the United States should be retiring at 65 years old. Frankly, I think retirement itself is a stupid idea unless you have some sort of health problem. Everybody that I know who is elderly, who has retired, is dead within 5 years. And if you talk to people who are elderly and they lose their purpose in life by losing their job and they stop working, things go to hell in a handbasket real quick. But put all of that aside, just on a fiscal level and on a logical level. When Franklin Delano Roosevelt established 65 as the retirement age, the average life expectancy in the United States was 63 years old. Today, the average life expectancy in the United States is close to 80. It's totally insane that you believe that you should be able to work from the time that you are essentially 20 to the time that you are 65, which is a 45-year period, pay in, and then you will receive Social Security benefits sufficient to support you and your family, you and your wife or whatever, for like another 20 years. That's crazy talk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Agreed.
Bob.
By the way, you don't get your...
Put one in Shapiro's corner from Bob Fonseca.
You don't, and there's the other thing, you don't... Here's the Social Security thing, you don't get it all at 65.
Here's the thing. Bob doesn't like to run because of his knees. They hurt, right? You don't want to do that. What about all of the construction workers that Republicans tout? And they want us all to weld and be plumbers and want us to bend and do back-breaking work at 67 years old? Ben Shapiro, who sits on his effing ass every single day and just
Chuy,
gives a
go get
damn
it.
speech?
It was me yesterday that got fired up, but today it's Chuy.
It just doesn't make sense.
So are you saying that? So you're saying that
You wanna
you're a
retire.
lazy bones, libtard, and you hate work.
That's correct.
You're a socialist.
Absolutely. I see my grandfather walking around not as well as others, or I see other, like, this guy does not champion the working class. They never have. They're completely out of touch with every single person out there working every single day to day.
You just want more checks from the government.
That's all I want, is to cheat the government. And if you can cheat the government, you should do it. I don't care who you are.
Why don't you scream all of this into your Obama phone?
I honestly don't even want to take these calls. I want to take any calls that are mad at me. I'm sure a lot of us are going to agree. But that's my take on this whole Ben Shapiro thing that I wanted to talk about. And taxing billionaires 25% after a certain billion, I guess, is too much for you? Who's sponsoring you? That's too much? What do they not get? They don't get to get the golden jet?
Can we flip?
I'm sorry. We don't get to retire. It's not the same. Shut up. Sorry.
Why would you apologize? Like, you can't take a firm stance, and that you can't say.
I wish America the Beautiful was playing underneath that.
You can't get up there and try to rally and give the beautiful nation time speech and go, nation time. Sorry.
It's in my nature to apologize after things, and yelling especially.
Give us 60 seconds to tell you about Next Evo, and then hey, let's take our 38 break and move it to the top of the hour, okay? Because this is back. We're trying to do that in a hurry so we can keep you here and you're not leaving.
I hope I don't yell again.
I hope you do.
I don't like when I yell. Let's go.
I felt really guilty yesterday because I yelled, and I really was joking with the yelling, and then you pointed out that maybe the lady, and I thought, oh, we could have had a much nicer conversation.
If Ben Shapiro was here, I would yell at him directly.
But don't you agree with Ben on that point, though? And he didn't put any science or any statistics behind it. He was just kind of,
Yeah, okay.
About when you
stop having a purpose, bitch, you don't need work to have a purpose.
There you
Start
go.
gardening. Get a damn hobby. Do something for yourself for an effing change. And all he's doing is just, I don't know, just keep working. He's an idiot. Sorry. Hey, Daniel.
Do you mean Danielle?
Danielle, I'm sorry.
What's up?
What's up, Danielle?
Sorry, Chuy's not only a commie, but he's a sexist as well.
Let me apologize.
What's up, Danielle? How are you today?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good.
Great.
Thanks for taking the time. What's up?
Well, you were talking about retiring, and I was just thinking about this yesterday. I've been working since I was 15 years old.
Yep.
And I have a Roth IRA and I have 401k, but still I don't know. So
it won't be enough.
Technically I can retire, but I'm not sure if I will be able to.
It's scary, isn't it?
Yeah. And then what you were talking about before, no young people actually know anything about money, which is even scarier, about saving or about and it's going to be scary for them when they find out how much things cost versus how much they earn or how much they have.
Look, I've turned into such a dad, like even in this building, because everybody's talking about the rock shows that they went to last night and the lines of fat rails of coke they were snorting, and I'm walking around going, yeah, but you guys are putting a little bit of money away for the future, aren't you? Like, that's literally who I've become walking around this building, because I've become so worried about it, not because I'm worried about them, but because I've seen my own mistakes and it's put me into a panic, and so now I feel like, well, I could save the children. I could save the children. And they're like, dude, why? What happened to you? When did you get to be so lame? And I was like, well, when I started doing taxes and realized that I'm effed. That's when I got lame. That's when I got lame.
Yeah. But the more important thing is that you understand the plot of the movie Soul Man.
Thank you. Thank you.
He didn't paint his face black. He took tanning pills to turn darker. And
my apologies.
That movie had the illustrious James Earl Jones and Ray Dong Chong in it. So
it was diverse. Yeah.
Right,
here's my issue. Here's my biggest issue.
It was still bad.
My biggest issue against Ray Dong Chong is not her acting ability or her beauty, but
her politics?
No, is that I always felt like I was. It sounds like a porn thing. Ray Dong Chong sounds like a
fake name you give
and I always was uncomfortable. It's like I feel like it's a series of porn movies or something. And and my apologies to Tommy Chong, wonderful daughter. We've met her in here before, but I do worry about her name. Made me uncomfortable as a child, even. But I do appreciate the very friendly correction because I said that he painted himself, and that would have been racist.
Yeah.
Unlike taking tanning pills,
which is more natural,
to get into school on a scholarship.
Yes, on a scholarship that was meant for a black student.
They were
Yes.
tanning
Thank you.
pills?
Dude, it's Hollywood,
all right.
man.
It's science fiction.
Hollywood has a rich guy that builds an iron uniform to fight crime. Okay, we could do anything.
Happening. That's going to be real. Thank you, Daniel. Well, go ahead.
No, I was going to say the reason he was in that position in the first place was because he was rich, but then his parents said they weren't going to pay for college.
Oh.
A lot of children may find themselves in the same position now.
Yes, I got two that live in my house.
Or won't yeah.
That's going to be a big shock to them. I got two in my house that may have
It's
to.
going to be tough picking the one that gets to go to college.
I love it when my kids are like, we want to go to school, and I go, well, I got a little something for you. We're going to watch a movie together called Soul Man.
And take these
This will
pills.
be you.
Thank you, Danielle. Have a good day.
All right, thank you.
Let's go to Jeff. Jeff, you retiring?
No, I'm a financial advisor, and you
Great.
guys have talked about a bunch of stuff that I could probably explain to you. I don't
Sure,
know where you want to go.
please.
You were talking about adult communities and what those things are called. Sun City is an adult community, and you just have to be a certain age, over 55, to live there.
Okay.
Is that
people
not
are very
age discrimination?
You could do
No,
that
that's not
in
age
Texas
discrimination.
with HOA, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
then it goes
what's the
to
financial advantage
adult
of that,
living.
though? What is the advantage of those communities? I don't know.
They don't have to put up with a bunch of young kids.
No riffraff?
Oh, that's it. So there's no kids. They're not giving you any kind of break.
Well, when
And the community itself is very active in that they provide a lot of activities for adults. They
Yeah,
call it cruise
okay.
ship on land.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know if
Right.
there was some tax benefit or some. I don't know if they gave you a bucket of money at the end of the month. I didn't know.
No, they
No.
will charge you
No,
one,
no.
though.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
The next step up from that is going to be assisted living, which means you need somebody to
that's
come
what I'm
in
doing.
and
That's when.
change your clothes.
That's
and
when
do
I
some
put
things.
one in the
Right.
chamber.
Right, that's where Bob is right now. His
Right.
wife has to assist him. If he needs anything on a top shelf, she has to come in.
That's true.
And if he needs to figure out how to use the computer, he has to bring in his 17-year-old son to help him do that.
Yeah.
So that's where he
Right.
is.
The next level is nursing care, and that means you need help with medications. And
that's
so
where we
a
get
nurse.
to suck on boobies.
Yeah.
Then it's
There you go. Yeah.
Then it's hospice.
Yeah.
Then it's hospice.
No, then it's memory care.
Yeah, that's where my
And
dad
memory
is,
care
yeah.
is you're healthy, except cognitively, you need somebody to watch you so you don't wander off into the streets
Okay.
and get lost.
That's where my dad is right
And
now.
then it becomes hospice,
It's sad.
and then
So the best plan is early death. Is that what
Is
you're
that
saying?
This is the best plan.
The best
Hey,
best
this is the best
recommendation
plan.
is yeah. Hey, what?
so that explains that. Now let's go back to Social Security.
Thank you.
Social Security was never set up to be a pension for people.
Correct.
It was set up to correct poverty in our country. And it's not going to replace your income.
No.
So people need to save early.
Yeah, and I think what happened, what we like us moving out of home ec and home finance and is that I do think a lot of people think that Social Security is supposed to support me, and when people look at it, they go, "Well, how am I supposed to
But
live
it's got
on this?"
security in the name, though.
Here's what was happening in our country: people were leaving work, and then they were immediately becoming homeless because they had zero way to support themselves, and we wanted some kind of safety net that said, "How can you at least eat? How can you eat? How can we keep you eating and keep you off the streets?"
Right.
Because first of all, we don't want to see your ugly ass mug. What's the one thing we've learned about Americans? We don't like to see you on the streets. Okay,
Right.
and I barely
And
want
so
to.
that was to take care of the poorer people.
So
and
what would you
companies
consider
at
an-
that point offered pensions? And now pensions have gone away because companies realized that people were living longer, and in order for them to be able to provide pensions for people, they had to pay out to people. So they eliminated that and pushed it onto us to save in 401ks and things like
Sir,
that.
what's your first
And they
name?
were like, "Oh, you have control over your life." No, that's not it.
What's your
It's
first
that the
name, sir?
companies don't have to support you.
What is your? I got a question, Chuck.
Jeff.
Jeff. Hey, I got a question.
Jeff.
So, do you advise your clients to take Social Security at 65 or wait till they get the maximum payout, which is what?
67 or 70?
What age is the maximum payout come? Because it's not the same.
At age 70. So after full retirement age, your Social Security grows by 8% each year. So if you don't need it, you should let it grow, because where are you going to get 8% growth on something that's going to pay out for the
Yeah, I'll
rest of
show
your
you
life?
8%
But
growth.
then
Yeah,
it's
what
more
if you
of a
what if you
question
buy the
of
farm
how
at
long-
70?
Exactly.
What if
So
you-
it-
then
it
all your
has to do
worries
with
are gone.
your health. It has to do with your health and whether you need the money now and all kinds of different stuff, and we go into that with clients.
Now, Jeff, I'm going to ask you
Complicated.
one simple help out there. What's the one most important thing that people could be doing
Start
out
now.
there? Start now.
Yeah. Whatever your age.
Why do I
Whatever your
start?
age,
How-
started very
Yeah.
late.
What am I starting with?
I didn't start till my 40s.
Listen, guys, you know me. I was in radio, and I always said radio prolonged adolescence. But
Hey,
what I
hey,
figured
Jeff,
out is that
I
people
got-
that are young
Wait a minute, this
can
is
only-
Jeff? Did I not? How did I not know this?
Carol.
Why didn't you say that?
Because it doesn't say Carol on the line.
Wait, this is Jeff Carroll, our old boss, Jeff
Yeah.
Carroll?
But your voice,
Oh, son of a
your
bitch.
voice sounds different on the radio.
I'm not trusting this guy.
I don't want to
I'm
talk.
in my car.
Man, how long have you been in this game now? In the financial game?
20 years.
Just 15.
Wow, man.
Sounds as fun as radio.
It's different. What I
Where do I
realized
start?
is that people can only look forward as far as they can look back. So a 15-year-old can maybe imagine themselves being 30, have no concept of being 50 or 60.
I can't
And so
see past
that's what
52.
the
What?
issue-
Right. That's the issue.
Yeah. That's
wow.
the issue. And
Where
like
do I-
Bob said, they think about the weekend and not about down the road. So
Yeah.
it's all about budgeting. And you've got to start now putting a small portion, like Matt said, into something that's going to grow. Einstein's eighth wonder of the world is compounding interest. So by putting just a little bit in each month, taking advantage of dollar cost averaging going into investments, that's the way to prepare.
Hard to
and then talk to a financial advisor, because there's tools that we can use that can kind of create self-pensions for you and things like
Right.
that.
Wow.
What were you
Look
going to
at
say?
you, Jeff.
Hard to believe you weren't more fun in rock radio.
I'm here for a good time, not a long
Oh,
time,
man,
Jeff.
it's so good to talk to you, dude. I'm sorry I didn't recognize your voice at the
I got to
process.
be honest with you.
Didn't
I
sound
wouldn't
like you.
you don't sound like you right now.
You
Maybe-
sound very
Well, I'm in my car.
professional.
Oh, yeah. Also, you're not yelling. So,
Well, yeah, you know.
guys.
We need either you or Carl Stewart in here to give some PSA.
You gotta
for
help
kids
Chuy, man.
and myself.
Yeah.
I need to know where, if I don't die early miraculously, I may need a plan.
Well, you can call me or I can turn you on to somebody else. But
Yeah.
you know what?
Jeff, can I ask
You got my number.
One last question is how many years do you need to have your limited edition Jordans in order for them to help you out in retirement? I'm just checking out for Chuy. I'm trying to help Chuy out here right now, and I know he's been investing a lot in these Jordans, and they
But
will
he's
pay
wearing
off.
them, though. He's wearing them
They're
out.
definitely going to pay off for him, right?
Yeah, after 25 years, they become a classic. So, then you get a tax.
Y'all laugh, but yeah, if I did keep a pair, they'd be about 10 G's.
10 G's?
If you have the original, like 85 Jordan
Here's
Chicago's,
the thing you're forgetting. Once the pool of people who are interested in something have died off,
yeah.
the value goes away.
Well, I'm of the age and even younger.
Look
so.
at baseball cards. Virtually gone.
Thank
now.
you very much,
Thank
Jeff.
you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff, good
Appreciate
talking
it.
to you, man. Let's get together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Just don't talk all this finance stuff. Jesus.
it's really
Bringing
putting
us
us
down.
down.
Talk about cocaine and hookers.
Yeah, man. And
Let's go
That's
to
the thing, though. Your brain does shut down when he starts saying stuff like dollar cost averaging. I know what that is now.
I do,
But that's
too.
the kind of thing where you go, ugh, I don't
just
know what
say,
that means.
Put this amount of money in this.
Yeah.
And make it reasonable.
It's
And
not
then
that easy. And what people forget, and I forget myself when I look at my bottom line, I go, oh, there comes a time when the government is going to get their taste too
Yes.
of what you say.
that's why the Roth
so that
IRA
number
is
that
better.
you haven't given the government their taste yet.
Right, we understand that.
But the Roth IRA is not taxable.
well,
That's what's great about the Roth IRA.
because you're putting in post-tax dollars.
You've already paid
But
the
you're
government.
limited in the amount of money that you can put there every
Right.
year. But let's not get too deep into the weeds because we're going to drive people crazy.
All right, let's go to Morgan then. Morgan. Waiting
Hello.
26 minutes.
What's up, Morgan?
Hi. So you guys might know this, but like no. Like if you work for a union job, you get pensions.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's what we're so against though in America. But like, yeah, my dad was a union lineman for 35 years or so. And he had cancer twice. We never had to do a single fundraiser. Like we never had to worry about losing our job, like in our house. And then he was able to go onto long-term disability into retirement, like or whatever. But yeah, I mean, like
that seems like
they
something
are
from
out there, but we're still against it.
They're,
Like,
they're not out there
movie.
because if you're starting as a lineman,
so I'm saying
if you start as a union lineman today, though, you wouldn't be offered the same things. They've gone and they've had to rebargain on all those contracts because of what was pointed out earlier. People do live longer now, and people now, or maybe I don't know. I can't speak to something that is going to be a federally regulated utility. That's such an essential service that maybe they're able to offer a longer, healthier.
Well, and granted, this was also in Illinois where like they have a major grid, or whatever, and so then like the overtime alone for stores. I'm just saying though, but like yeah, it was a good job because like my other family, extended family, was a family of lawyers or whatever, and my dad made more money than them just from having a good. And
my dad made more money than lawyers. Look at me, I'm Morgan. Everything good for me.
I know, but also to Chuy's point about having a hobby. So with his job, he had 8 weeks off. I think, like by like the end of his tenure, he duck hunted from November through December, and that's all. Yeah, we had his family was a big duck hunting family, but that, and I guarantee he would have been fishing and hunting like for his hobbies, but we just value our military over like the people. I mean, and that's it. Like if the country would invest in other things, this wouldn't be an issue.
Well, I think one of the issues we have too is that we've decided the most important thing for us in this country is money.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I met with somebody the other day who's a salesperson who's just moved to this area. She's worked all over the country. She said, "I've never been in a harder working city than Austin," which I think is odd because people love to say, well, Austin's just lazy and slackers.
Right.
She said, when I go around the country, I do not see people putting the hours into their jobs that they do in Austin and still not benefiting. Because she's like, you're just working, but it's not like you're working towards vacations or whatever. She's like, I just see people working all the time.
Yeah.
And to the point that Shapiro was making, where it seems like what he's saying is the only thing of value and worth is a working class. But that's because he's part of that 10% that's benefiting so much from the working class.
Yeah.
Creating gigantic pools of wealth for the upper 10%. I have to push back on the Shapiro thing because, thank you, Morgan. I appreciate it. Morgan. I have to push back on the Shapiro thing because he says you should be working later in your life. We should be working towards 70. Here's my problem with that, and where I sometimes get concerned. I'll get moved out of radio, right? Mm-hmm. We just will. And Chuy, you and I have a difficulty. Radio used to pay gobs of money, but it stopped at the point that we finally got to a position where we would have been in a position to start making some money. It turned out, though, that the industry changed as we got there, and you and I will never make that money, right? We just won't.
Thank you for reminding me.
I remind myself every single day. Okay. And when I hop into my 25-year-old truck and leave my neighborhood where everyone has blocks, their cars up on blocks, I remind myself that I gambled and I lost on this one.
Yeah.
So when I'm leaving here, which will probably be, hopefully will be a little bit of time, but maybe, I mean, I enjoy my job still. But when I'm leaving here, I'll be going into a workforce as somebody who is going to have a very difficult time getting a job because businesses generally don't look at somebody who is in their 70s or 60s or even their 50s and go, oh, I can't wait to hire them, right?
Yeah, they're going to have a long career.
So when Shapiro says, hey, you need to be working later, the problem is there's something called...
There's only so many Walmart greeter positions out there.
How many companies right now in Austin are offering people, quote unquote, early retirement packages when they're 52 years old and saying, well, you can take this severance and we'll pay you 2 years worth of your income and then you can go find another job. And then those people are like, I'm having a hard time finding a job because we are a community in a country that is really focused on the youth. All right.
All right. So we didn't really solve anything.
Well, we weren't going to solve anything, but we did get you to yell, and that was kind of fun.
I do want to get Carl Stewart on here because I guarantee you he could give you like a step-by-step for guys and women in their 30s that are like, where do I even start?
Some of those people are so structured, though, they can annoy you.
Well, yeah. What do you mean, Carl, or the people?
No, not Carl in particular, but I'm saying sometimes some of these guys are so strict and have such a regimen that you're like, I can't possibly,
We're
possibly do that.
We're way behind. Let's get on focus so that we can get some bills paid so we don't get... I don't want to get retired tomorrow. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
And we'll talk about Hot Carl in a second. Is that who you're talking about? Hot Carl Stewart?
Yeah.
The man.
I'm down for whatever.
Man, the calls are still coming in.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a POV on saving, and I don't think there's any answer. I don't know. It's
There
frustrating.
isn't. Yeah.
It's frustrating.
I think it's one of those giant things that you start to think about is, well, once you hit 30, you start to think about what's going to happen. And it just starts, you get paralyzed by not knowing what to do. And all that happens is that the end date gets closer and closer and closer, and you get more and more nervous, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just so natural for kids in their 20s just to not care about.
Of course.
Well, you're invincible when you're 20. You don't think about traffic.
And there's
you don't think about traffic safety and
there's so much life to experience. And imagine yourself 24 and it's like, I guess I was good. I put that $400 in the bank, but you're sitting in a lawn chair in your house instead of at Miami Beach with your friends. And that's, well, this is all going to be for good. I can't wait until I'm old and comfy. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And I think they're right. I think the kids are correct in doing what they're doing right now.
Well, can I pose
But we
one
need
thing
to create
to you?
what they need to do is be smart and create an entire system that will support that.
I saw a guy saying what you should be doing is your body can handle it the most when you're in your 20s. If you don't believe him, just go drinking in your 20s. You can snap back from stuff remarkably quickly in your 20s. So he said you should be working, you should try to work 2 jobs if you can in your 20s. You should be working 18-hour days and be miserable. And when I was reading this article, I was like, this guy's an asshole. But here was his point. The trips that you can do when you're young, it's you, 5 friends, you're staying at a La Quinta and going to some show or something.
Maybe a hostel.
Right. He's like, if you were to if you take all that money and put it away, and then at 30, start slowly peeling back on your work, he's like, by 45, 50, you're going to start having some real money. And then when you finally have time to just party it up, you've got real dough to party it up. Now,
I still think
not everybody has to agree with that, but it was an interesting point I had never thought
I
of.
did that. I worked 2 jobs. Guess what? It all went to rent. It all went to bills. It all went to a car breaking down. It all went to some hospital bill. It all went to, like, it goes. It doesn't, saving isn't as easy as everybody thinks.
Well, it's easier. The problem is, too, that we're also speaking into microphones in a city like Austin. I moved to Austin. Part of it was a financial decision because it was a very cheap town to live in.
Right.
And you could save money. People are now coming to a very expensive
was the play in the
party
60s
town.
and 70s, yeah.
And the problem is that you have to sometimes make financial decisions, and part of those have to be moves and where am I going to establish my life. Anyone coming here now and going, well, but your generation got this or that. It's like, yes, my generation did get that because I chose to move to a cheap city that didn't have omakase and did not have breweries or any of these things. When I moved here, we had the chili parlor, and we had a guy that rode around town with 3 dogs on his motorcycle, and they wore sunglasses. That was our festival.
Don't you feel
the
like
real
we're
lucky part, too, is, you had no idea that the house was going to increase in that amount of value. So that was a nice little hit. That was a nice little lotto.
Yes, but moving to a place that was affordable was not lucky. It was a decision that I made.
Don't you feel like
my
this
friends,
town
I remember, were moving to Dallas, and then a lot of us went to L.A., and I purposely did not go to either because I was like, ugh, it's really expensive, and what I want to do is try to do stand-up, and it's irresponsible for me to go to one of those cities because it costs so much more. And so there was a real decision. I mean, I remember I moved to L.A., and then I moved back because I was like, this is not sustainable
no one can live there.
in L.A.
Still can't live there.
Except Austin's now the expense that L.A. is.
I moved in 2010, and it wasn't awful, but I had a roommate. But I'm sorry, Bob, we interrupted.
No, I just feel like, no, you didn't interrupt me. I interrupted you. I feel like there's so much tourism here now that I think everybody in this city we're going to be like Honolulu or something. We're all going to be in the service industry at some point.
And by service, you mean that service you perform when you're down on your knees?
We're all going to be working in hotels, restaurants, and just taking care of the tourists that come here.
Maybe.
Let's hear from Sherm real fast. Sherm.
And building Cybertrucks.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Sherm?
Shermy, where you been?
He had surgery on his dong.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. He got up.
Yeah,
He forgot to put his dong in the harness, and when it pulled down, it pulled his spine right out of his body.
Damn.
Right. So they made me go to the surgery because remember when AT&T went down a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
I sent my wife a D pic and it was too many.
Yeah, it was
pics.
too big.
Hey, I saw you in the movie Dune yesterday. What's that thing doing in the sand, man?
It gets kind of wet.
Yeah.
So you got to dry it off.
What's your retirement plan, Sherm?
Put Ben Shapiro in a guillotine.
I think we'll have some sort of like communes for like.
Yeah, what's that pay?
They're gonna keep saying this outrageous stuff until I literally start eating them. You know what I mean? Like
There is a disconnect between some of the wealthy and then some of the working blue collar class.
Here's the
and
problem.
they've tricked all those blue collar guys into supporting them against their own best interests.
And none of them have welded. Not one of them has done any plumbing job or fixed a pipe or done anything.
The problem with eating the rich is that, honestly, when you look at a Jeff Bezos or a Ben Shapiro, do either of them look tasty?
No. It's the principle of the matter. Eat them so then maybe Elon will start being a nicer person. You know what I mean?
He's already
they have
disconnected.
barbecue sauce. Eat them.
Once you're in that life, it's hard to reconnect. I guess maybe you remember where you come from, which is
I don't know.
a South African. What was he? Nepo baby.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know once you're rich how you stay connected to other people.
They were getting like 50-60% on the corporate tax rate back when Social Security came out. So that was kind of hedging that bet too. And now it's low and they don't pay taxes. You know, they kick my taxes back because I didn't pay $300 for 2 weeks worth of Obamacare that I had 2 years ago. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And Tesla and AT&T are paying zero in income taxes over the years. So it's BS.
Well, why don't you start a car company then instead of bitching and moaning? Mm-hmm. Where's your car company?
I'm going to start a D-Pick company that doesn't crash.
Thanks, Sherm.
Thanks, Sherm. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can talk about this forever, but nothing's going to change. Then there's no real outsider.
No, and I wasn't really bringing it up even to find solution. It weighs heavily on my brain so much these days. I don't know. It's just like I'm in a cycle. I can't stop thinking about it. Mm-hmm. I think because my mother's in a position and my mother's-in-law are in a position, and then I worry about my kids and what the hell am I going to do? And I think I can't get out of the cyclical thinking about it.
Right.
And I think when I'm yelling at young people, like a guy that yells at clouds, what I'm trying to do is fix a younger me. And the thing is I know I'm not going to fix those young people. And you know why I know that? Because when I was in my 20s, I had multiple people telling me, you need to be saving money right now. And I would say things like, what good does saving $1,000 do?
Right.
That's going to be like what? 3 days.
Drop in the tank.
When I'm 65, $1,000 will be worth what? $100 today, so I can go one dinner. What's the point? That's how my brain thought, because I did not understand what happens with that $1,000 over a 40-year period and how it would have changed, how much it would change.
Yeah, but then I started late saving. And
what's late?
Like in my 40s, like when I started working here. I had nothing when I started. I told you when I started here in 92, I had
We teased Bob. We teased Bob about being a super wealthy guy, but when he started here 30 years ago,
he's coming off a divorce.
He had an apartment with no furniture and not a $0 saved, and he was in his.
I was happy.
He was already 70 years old back then.
I was alive. Mm-hmm. I was happy. But then to stay the core, we're talking about beginning the saving, but sometimes the energy it takes and the stamina it takes to keep doing it when you face certain years like, what was it, 2008, 2009, when all of a sudden half of what you saved disappeared?
Well,
that was hard to.
It's a little discouraging.
That was a little discouraging.
It's a little discouraging.
A little discouraging. It's like, well, maybe this isn't the game I should be in, this savings game, because I just lost. You didn't really lose it, but you lost it.
You lost it.
You lost half.
Yeah.
And if you did what I did and started panic selling a little bit, then you lose more.
Starting in 2020,
you got to have vision.
My stand up and punch went away from me, and they haven't come back, and that was half my income. I've lost that and has come back. So I've gone 4 years making 50% less of what I was making in 2019.
Punch 2024.
And it has been, I would say, a little trying to keep yourself from dipping into savings, to still stay the course, which means you have to change your lifestyle, and you have to ask your wife to change her lifestyle, and you have to ask your children to change their lifestyle. Because Daddy had a stroke and he can't remember words.
Oh, come on. No. Don't be hard on yourself.
You should get disability, maybe. I'm telling you, you got to cheat the system. At least get the handicaps, dude.
Yeah, did you get that?
Point. You know what? This town would be way better if I had free, ample parking everywhere.
You could have parked right in front of that Japanese kisser. Right in the kisser. Oh, God.
What happened?
You know what? I don't want to take his call today.
Oh.
I think it'd be good, maybe retirement talk, but I know it's going to be something
It's not
stupid.
Tesla Dan, is it?
It's going to be Tesla Dan, isn't it? Hey, there is no, we haven't signed a contract. You don't have to take his call.
All right, I won't.
But you want there's that little thing. It's like when you have a sore in your mouth and you can't stop touching it with your tongue. You know you're making it worse.
It's just there's a chance he might correct you, and I live for
and so that I know, because you're like, oh, this could be great because he could correct Matt, and that feels good. But you also know that it could fall flat, right?
Yeah. And
is it
usually the latter?
Go ahead and roll the dice then.
Dan, help me out.
Hey, I don't have a retirement account. I got all of my retirement in my real estate. You know, with the real estate boom in Austin, I've probably got $3 million of real estate. I'm never going to sell it, not until I'm on a walker and an oxygen tank.
So for one more week.
How are you going to sell it so fast? You got to call Chris Waters.
The only agent I would trust.
That's
it. Yeah. So anyway, I don't have one of these 401k or Keogh retirement accounts because I think I'm doing better in my real estate that's like gone up 5 times in the past.
This is where people get mad at his calls when he calls and he's just like, yeah, I don't have one of those because I put all of my money into homes and I'm a millionaire.
Are you retired technically, Tesla Dan?
Well, you asked that question earlier. I am never going to retire because I've just got too much going on. I'm too creative. I'm too ambitious. That it's not about the
too
money.
Oversexed.
It's about,
Well, you got time to call us, though, huh?
Yeah.
So you just look
that's
retired.
Our luck. You know,
just look retired. All right. Well,
no,
I don't know.
I don't think I've ever come off that way. You know, just being a HNWI does not mean you're retired.
Well, you just leave me some money, man. It would mean a lot. Just 5, maybe 10K. I know it's nothing to you. Leave me. Just
I am going to rewrite the will, so I could cover you. We'll talk about it.
Just throw me in there.
An email and get your particulars.
I'm not asking for a lot.
And yeah, $10,000. That wouldn't even.
You just said you had $3 million. What's 10? You're so greedy, Dan.
No, he's saying he's going to leave you more.
The extra large.
Yeah.
That'll pay for the extra large casket.
Okay.
So.
Oh, damn, Dan.
Damn, he came after you today.
Is that because both of us are going to be in there?
Are you going to bury all your girlfriends with you?
We both got about 5.
You know how the pharaohs used to bury themselves with their pets and all their concubines would get killed too? That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do.
All right, Dan, it's good.
We're going to bury Dan in that Bass Pro Shop in Memphis.
It's very encouraging for the children, Dan. Thank you. Good morning.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So what do we learn? That reminded me a little bit of the old Steve Martin bit, How to Be a Millionaire. First get a million dollars.
Let's go to Elliot.
Hey, good morning, guys. What's up?
What's up?
man?
So I have to tell you the story. I've called in to you guys a couple times before, but since you're on the whole job thing, I recently was terminated from a job without reason, or the reason they gave me was the most ridiculous thing ever, and I kind of wanted some input, or at least to give you guys a laugh. So, and I won't, in case they're a sponsor, I won't say the name of the company, but I took over a store managing in November that prior, the previous manager had completely failed and had taken a store doing $3.5 million a year to $1.7. Between November and February, when I got let go, I brought it back to doing $3.2 million. We were up 50%. All the metrics were great. All the reviews were great.
Which rub and tug was this?
This was not a rub and tug. It was a motorcycle-related spot.
Okay.
I'll say that.
All right.
okay.
Yeah. We'll stay out of mentioning thank you for not mentioning names.
You're good. No names at all. So anyway, I go in 2 weeks before, or 2 days before my vacation, and the district manager's there, and he goes, "Hey, we have to let you go." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "Well, you've been giving out a few discounts. They have some discounts for new riders and things like that." And I said, "Yeah, they're all valid." "Okay, but your margins dropped a few points." And I'm like, "Okay, where's the issue?" "Well, they just think it's excessive." So to give you the idea, I fixed a store that for 2 years had suffered and had lost half of its sales, brought it back up to 3.2, but because they lost 6 points of margin, they thought that was a fireable offense, despite having nothing but a perfect track record ahead of that and having other stores in the same company miserably failing.
We have a couple guys that call us whenever we get to bitching and moaning about careers and money and everything, and they always say, "Yeah, it's because you work for somebody. Don't ever work for anybody.
I agree with that.
Only work for yourself. Then you only got one person to be pissed off at." I think a lot of us have the fear of doing that, and I think that fear is what enables other people who were born without it to become so wildly successful. And but yeah, when you're always at somebody else's mercy for whatever decision they have, right?
Oh no, 100%. And I've worked myself before. I'd love to get back to it. It's just that's the first time I've been fired from a job for doing too well.
Yeah,
and I'm still just kind of shocked.
That's why I think you should steal from your job. You never know. You got to take something with you, man.
Man, you don't poo where you eat. That's one thing you never do.
Yeah,
you're still fired no matter what, sir. Okay? It's not. You're going to get your job back for being good now.
I got fired once from a place that I used to do some booking with, and I ended up having a $13,000 weekend for a place that usually did $5,000 weekends. And they said, this is not going to look right for us when we do our taxes, and you didn't tell us that you were doing this big party here beforehand, and we're going to have to doubled go. Wow. And it was the most confusing thing that ever happened to me. But I was just like, I don't understand. Like, I doubled up. I more than doubled up the money for a weekend. They're like, yeah, but you didn't tell us that you were going to do this, and it messes up. I guess they had something going where they're like, we need this business to take a loss to cover this or whatever.
Right.
But I don't understand even how 1 week would make a difference. They just were livid that they're like, why? We don't know what you're doing over there. And I was like, I'm trying to make it better.
Yeah, you think, right.
Yeah. So.
How dare you care about the success of the business?
Yeah. That's the issue. Be your own business. The business only cares about itself. It's never going to care about the people.
Man,
guys, I love the show. I figured it was a good laugh, so I appreciate it.
It was. Sorry that happened to you, man. Have you found a new occupation somewhere?
Bounce back?
No, man. I'm still looking. So if anybody needs a sales and management guy with a master's degree and 23 years of experience,
we'd love you. Actually, I'll be honest.
Well, that sounds expensive. Get the hell off our property. Get the hell off the radio property, dude. We need somebody that knows somebody who can get us a little bag of Coke.
Hurry up before we got to pay you.
I did radio morning shows back in the day, and I got out of it because I was the program director, the morning show host, and I had to do recordings for the afternoon hours too. And I was making, this was back maybe
this 10, is me calling me
ago.
from the future.
Don't tell me how much you made, because it's going to be more than me currently. So
no.
Please don't make me mad.
It was barely over $20,000 a year.
Damn it.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Elliot.
All right, thanks, guys.
Appreciate you.
I should have done better research before getting into radio. The only radio guys I knew were guys I knew from doing the road as a comic, and all the radio guys I knew always were the top morning shows.
Yeah.
So I just thought, well, radio is a $500,000 a year job. That's it's good six figures.
Not in Austin, it was. In the Midwest, it was. In cities that nobody wanted to live in. If you were a hot guy in Kansas City on the mornings, you were making buku Dolores.
I was driving around and going, and I was seeing these cars, and I don't think you guys were making that same amount of money, but you at least gave off the air that you were.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like
we weren't making JB and Sandy money.
Right, but I heard you talking about your property on Cat Mountain. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, damn, he's planning for the... And so in my mind, I was like, man, maybe I should stick around in radio. Apparently, they're just handing out cash.
Yeah. But the switch happened so quick.
I never chased money, because I never thought I could have money or be rich.
You can't.
That's imposter syndrome, though.
So I did the thing in my mind is actually I think the right thing everyone should be doing is do something you like to do.
I think you will.
Every day.
I do think eventually you will hit six figures on a bathroom scale.
Son of a bitch.
I didn't even see that coming.
I knew it was.
Because Chuy was standing in the way of the joke. You can't see around him for the joke, could you?
I'm losing weight. I'm working out. Feeling good.
You're looking good.
I know I am.
You are losing weight?
Yeah.
You might be able to find it in one of your roles.
When people meet me, they're like, bro, I thought you were going to be really fat. Because they make fun of you. And I was like,
that's a good thing.
Every time I meet somebody, they're like, I thought you were super fat. And
that's kind of the best diet then, isn't it? To have your friends S-talk you, and then when people meet you, they're like, damn, you're skinny.
Bob, you headed down to the KLBJ South by Southwest 2024 day party today?
After lunch with you buffoons. I got to kill some time because this thing starts at noon. The music starts at 1, right? I think the doors are at noon.
Doors are at noon. The drinking is at noon. The food is at noon. And it's all happening at Come and Take It Live. Great venue on East Riverside.
Okay, that's on the way home, so I'm going to head out there.
Is Emo's. The same parking lot as the back room.
Easy to get to and lots of parking.
You're speaking my language right there, Chuy. You're speaking my language.
Seen a couple shows there.
Our day parts that are much more music focused. Of course, we're talking about Drew. Talking about Johnny Rude.
Mm-hmm.
So rude.
He is rude.
So rude.
I'm going to tell
L.A.
him
Lloyd, Chuck, and all those guys got together and they've put together a fantastic lineup of cool rock and roll bands. Some of you ladies will be happy. I want to say, I think 60 or 70% of our bands are fronted by women this year, and they're playing fun rock.
We have 3 bands today, and the good part is that they're not all going to be playing at the same time.
That would be conflicting and complicated.
Chaos. And we're not doing that anymore. We know that now. So we've got a band starting at 1. We've got a band starting at 2:30, and then one at 4 o'clock, 4 to 5 when we wrap up. But
that's happening today, tomorrow, and Friday.
Come out and join us, or just pop in if you can.
Bob's gonna be down there. I'll be down there later in the day. I have to also do something for the afternoon broadcast that I do on 101X. I don't like to talk about it much because, well, when I'm over here, I like to talk about over here. When I'm over there, I talk about over there. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They'll be
if I say, hey, listen to me over there, then what I'm saying is don't listen to my boss, L.A. Lloyd. And I want you to listen to my boss, L.A. Lloyd. I mean, I would like for you to, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Right? This is very complicated. Oh, my God, a bear.
101X will be on our legal ID soon.
Hey, we got a nice shout out. And you should never go into Reddit if you're in radio, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're always gonna get your feelings hurt.
Yeah, depending. Yeah.
And I know that, Redditors are allowed to be there, and that's their place. I never even wade into but I do see a lot of stuff in Reddit that makes me laugh. There's some very funny posters in Reddit.
I love Reddit.
It is really funny. It's just that anytime I see R. Austin and I see something say radio on it, I'm just like, nope, don't go in there. There was a thread complaining about other radio here in the city, and it's usually the same thing, which is most of people going, I don't know why the hell anyone would ever listen to radio ever again. I'm like, well,
outside of us, I agree.
I got a point. Outside of us, Dave.
Well, someone was basically just saying the only reason I would listen to radio is if there was something that was really focused on community and cool. And whoever the person is, thank you. Someone was just like, oh, you're describing Mornings with Matt and Bob. That's what you should be listening to.
Local.
And they were like, well, I'm sick and tired of classic rock. And they're like, yeah, they play 2 songs in the morning. Stop being an a-hole.
We're free.
Anyway, whoever that person was that came to our defense, thank you.
Yeah.
You didn't get their username, their handle?
Once I saw anything in there,
you didn't even want to look.
I shouldn't be in there. I'm in a private club. I need out. I need out of here.
I've read all of it. Nobody's even said bad about me. I'd like to make some enemies or some haters.
You've got plenty. Go to my dad's neighborhood. Got you.
Son of a bitch.
I want to play this. We were talking about finances.
Yeah.
Can you give me the screen?
Yep.
Oh, you going to show us your accounts?
Show us your bank. Yeah, I want to see.
This guy's got it all figured out. I've been following this dude. I'm in love with him. He is a like one of those alpha male influencers, but I think he may be neurodivergent, and I don't think he fully understands. I don't think he fully understands how he comes off, but that's why I really enjoy him.
I think a lot of those alphas are.
Anyway, this one just fits into our day. Let's see if I can give myself some volume here before I click him up.
If you can drink alcohol, smoke cigarette, maybe you will die earlier. But you will not fall in love with any girls. Otherwise, your life will end gradually.
Wait, what?
He just said something in a profound way that wasn't profound.
I know, but he does so many of those.
I like it.
And I'm really into him.
What is that snap thing he does at the end?
He does it at the end of all of them, and he goes, if you smoke cigarette and drink, you won't ever fall in love. Otherwise, you will die gradually. Snap!
I got to see more. I got to see more words of wisdom.
Want me to play them for you again?
Yeah, I want to.
If you can drink alcohol, smoke cigarette, maybe you will die earlier. But you will not fall in love with any girls. Otherwise, your life will end gradually.
Damn!
Brother!
I wish it would have kept on playing the music. I like that.
I want to do that. How does he do that?
I like this is the new Andrew Tate.
He's so good. Another thing that I want to bring into you from the internet. I know some people complain and say, "Why are you playing stuff from the internet?" Because
we can.
Because it's relevant. Because y'all all have the internet.
Hey, what are those
platforms?
shoes he's wearing, Chuy? Are those 2 stripes? What brand has 2 stripes?
I don't know. I'm not sure what those are.
Is that the new thing? Because I need to be on the cutting edge.
Could actually be.
Those are called clean and sobers.
It could be
finger snaps.
MCMs, actually.
You guys have probably seen the meme.
Don't count on it.
That's happening where they go, we're guys in Austin.
Yeah.
We don't pick you up unless we get drunk all. You know what I'm saying? Or they say like, we're women from the Midwest. We wear sweaters even in the summertime.
We're Matt and Bob in the mornings. We don't know what we're talking about.
Right. So it's a structure that everyone does.
I don't know it.
Yeah, it's a common video meme where everyone's like, hey, we work at Popeyes. Yeah, we're ready to fight or something like that.
Yeah, hey, we work at Popeyes. Of course there's going to be soap in the iced tea.
Yeah.
Hey, we work at Popeyes.
So what's ours?
Well, we would have to make one.
Yeah, we have to make one, and then I don't want that would feel like we're joiners.
Well, what would be an example of one we would say?
Hey, we work in morning radio. Of course we bitch and moan about our pay. Hey, we work in morning radio.
It has to be true? It has to be a truism, or can it be something that's not even...
Bob, this is not what this segment is about right now, and you're going to get
and
down...
And who's doing the finger whip snap thing?
You're going to dive so far. How about this? Why don't I show you an example of one of these, and you'll understand how they work. But it's not about that.
We're in morning radio.
I want you to see...
Of course I'm fat.
Like, there's the one, there's those two really... There's these 2 girls, and they're like, we're dudes in Austin.
Yeah. I've seen all of them.
Of course we'll take you back to our apartment where we have 9 roommates. We're dudes in Austin. Okay. I can't wait to tell you about my startup that my dad is funding. We're dudes and like they're making fun of the dating scene here in town, okay?
They deserve to be made fun of, too.
Okay.
Now ask your question. I'm sure something's driving you crazy now. Where you're gonna be like, but
I can't think of one.
Do guys actually have 9? How many guys have 9 roommates? I know what your next question is gonna be. Is that you're gonna over literalize this thing? And it was just an intro to show you this ridiculous video that's next.
We're in morning radio. Of course, we don't hang out after hours.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, you might want to have a little more punch on it.
We're morning radio. We can never decide where to go to lunch.
We don't have anything exciting.
But that would be really about our show. And you might have to say, like...
you gotta go stereotype.
We're in morning radio. Ratings system sucks.
We're in morning radio. Of course we just played Dark Side of the Moon again.
That's not funny, though. We did. Wish you were here. Then you say, wish you were here. Right?
We're in morning radio. Of course we're misogynist.
Oh, you have to say, of course, every time?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Let's get into this one.
We're in morning radio. Of course we'll buy your car.
This is what this one is.
We're in morning radio. Of course we're doing a failing bid.
Here's what this one is. Oh, God. It's so true. It's so true. This one is, we're in an interracial age gap.
I know this couple. I follow
We're an
them.
interracial age gap couple. Okay? I brought this in. I'm sad that you've seen them already because I don't think Bob has. And I want Bob to see them.
I won't get it.
You will
Trust me, nobody gets it. So
no one will get it. I will say this. I was left open-mouthed and stunned.
They have a whole... I follow them and...
I spent an hour yesterday just clicking on videos of them going, they're real. They're real.
They are real people, and I support their love.
So, Bob, this is just for you.
Okay.
I want you to watch them because they're in an interracial age gap couple, and you'll find out what the obvious things are when you're in an interracial age gap couple, okay?
Okay.
Interracial age gap couple. Of course people stare at us when we go in the building.
We're an interracial age gap couple. Of course people think that he's my grandson, but he's actually my husband.
Bob, do you have any comments so far?
I am going to...
Put some music behind it. That way at least it's palatable.
Is she wearing a bomber jacket with his...
Yeah.
Yes, she is.
His picture, his face all over it?
As every girlfriend should have of their boyfriend.
Yes. She's also wearing it, that it's covered in photos of her boyfriend and also covered in tons of dead skin cells that are coming off of her like a snowstorm. You think she ever smoked?
I think she's quit so far. Oh. Love is love, Matt.
All right, let's see some more.
We're an interracial age gap couple. Of course I do all the cooking.
Baby, you don't like my cooking?
I do. I just make sure it's very well seasoned.
We're an interracial age gap couple. And of course, people assume that he got with me for money and my good credit.
We're an interracial age gap couple. Of course we're starting a family because our family doesn't approve our love.
We're an interracial age gap couple. Of course, I still got that WAP. Because it never dried out.
Every one of these videos. Every one of these videos has a jump scare.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's some crypt keeper ass.
I know. How do you even? What condition is that?
Retirement. she got to retire.
Got more wrinkles than the plot of a Christopher Nolan movie.
Okay, wait, are you Dennis Miller now? What was that?
Just a reference?
Well, also me making a reference to Dennis Miller, who hasn't been on television in a decade, also aged me as well.
I'm in morning radio. Of course I have to make bad references.
Of course I make references that don't make sense.
I just was stunned when I saw that because I was like, "Oh, is this a joke
Are
thing?"
they really together?
They're a real couple.
It started
they
off
don't
crazy.
do it.
There's someone for everyone.
They don't do it though.
Do what?
What are you talking about? They make love. I'll subscribe to their OnlyFans. You want my account?
No.
I would watch it,
I want to
honestly.
see more of this guy.
I would watch that OnlyFans. Because it's so unique and interesting. I don't know. I'd like to see how y'all do it.
I got to get those kicks, man.
I'll send you some
Okay,
videos.
thank you. No POV, please. I'd like.
Hey, for 2 days now, I've been looking at this thing that says another perfect reboot. What is? Do we have time, or should we move that to another day?
It's just a reboot that we don't get behind a lot of the reboots.
We don't. We tend to be. We're jaded old guy show. Of course, we don't get into the reboots, and we think that the original was the best.
Right.
But this one, I think they picked the perfect person, and they're going to remake The Naked Gun. You remember?
With who?
Remember Leslie?
It depends
Leslie
who.
Nielsen.
Who's going to beat Leslie Nielsen?
It really depends because when you say another perfect reboot, part of my brain is like, you can't remake The Naked Gun, but also, why? Here's an issue. We love those movies, but it was for a more innocent time. And in reflection, they're not funny. They did not hold up.
It was just a series of one-liners, right?
It was like a parody, almost like the Scary Movie.
Well,
era.
Airplane.
Yeah, Airplane.
Airplane 2, Airplane 3, and those all were takeoffs of the airport movies.
I did like the one that he did where he was a detective. What was that one? Where there was a
Naked
cop.
Gun.
That was Naked Gun.
Was that Naked Gun?
Yeah.
That was good.
So I don't know if you've seen him in extras or if you've seen him in Ted 2, but he's a serious actor.
Ricky Gervais?
But has just a lot of potential in the comedy world.
Okay.
Liam Neeson. Well, I'm sorry, but the scenes I've seen him in Ted 2 and in extras,
he might be able to pull this off.
Timing
He's got that dryness.
Tone.
He's got the dryness.
Yes.
He's got the physical stature of a Leslie Nielsen.
Yes.
He's got the dryness in his delivery.
Of that woman we just saw on the television. Y'all sound like a bunch of uneducated bubbles right now.
And frankly, I'm tired of watching Leslie Nielsen I'm tired of watching him trying to save his kidnapped daughter.
You mean Liam Neeson, not Leslie Nielsen.
Oh,
Leslie Nielsen's never tried to.
Yeah, I'm tired of those.
Do you have a video of this?
No, there's no trailer.
There's no trailer?
It's just
no one's even created a fake trailer?
Paramount Pictures is moving ahead with the long gestating remake of Naked Gun.
Why not start with Airplane?
Last Wednesday that Liam Neeson will star as the bumbling police detective.
This is good news. It's great news for Mike McRae. Because the Taken franchise is falling a little bit, and Mike McRae does the best Liam Neeson impression. It's insanely good, and then he can bring all of that back again, and audiences will lean into it again.
I feel like the writers have the heavy lifting on this.
Mike McRae
that you just need someone with a deadpan delivery like Liam Neeson to deliver these lines. But the writing is going to have to be spot on, and I don't know who they're going to get.
But some of those deadpan people don't have comedic timing. He has it. Watch Ted 2.
Oh, no, I believe that. He's a master.
And that extra scene, he's really good.
You could teach a master class.
And you're making a whole movie about this, then I think it's going to be amazing.
I'm surprised they're not starting with Airplane.
So, no, Naked, I don't know if you can... I don't know what it's going to be like, but I think it's going to be good just because Liam Neeson's in it.
I agree with you.
So,
hey, let's do a little bit of an internet teaser.
Okay.
Big Al!
Hey, Big Al!
I haven't even
We've been
cast
covering
eyes on him
We've
yet.
been covering Big Al's outfit choices.
Hello.
And today you have an ode to Prince.
You know, I've stood right there.
One of the
You don't
greatest
know this,
musicians of all time.
I heard that the other
When
day.
I went on the Warner Brothers studio tour, I stood right on the spot where Prince's motorcycle is.
Smelled it.
Big Al today looks. One of the problems though is that you're so tall and so big. You look a little bit like Grape Ape this morning, but you have gone full purples for the people.
Yeah. Purple shirt, purple hat. Oh, I picked it because it matched.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you do like the matchy match, don't you?
Yeah.
But I think it's one of the reasons that the audience is loving you so much. You really have been. You've been fantastic with the show. We're afraid to say it, but you're really good with the work part of the internship.
Oh.
Sometimes with people are good because they're good on air and stuff, but like you get stuff done.
Yeah.
You misspelled a name last week, but that's okay.
Oh yeah, you
It's
did.
okay. We fixed it up.
You did accidentally misspell Danny Crooks' name. Danny Crooks has contributed to this community in countless ways. And you spelled his name Danny Crooks, which makes it sound like he's over and done with.
Oh, no,
and
I'm sorry.
Please say sorry.
I'm so sorry, Danny. I'm sorry, Mr. Crooks.
Danny Crooks. Of all the things you could have chosen, Danny Crooks.
No.
Cooks would have been cool. I would have kept Cooks in there.
Absolutely.
Danny Cooks, he is cooking.
But whenever you take somebody who's in here talking about the things that they used to do for the city and you write their name down as Danny Almost Dead is not, it doesn't really make him shine in the way that we want to for our guests.
I'm sorry.
You should be.
Very sorry, Danny Crooks.
You're forgiven. He forgives you.
Yeah. Our apologies to Danny Crooks. So here's what we're going to do. If you've been following along on our Instagram, Matt and Bob FM, on our stories, anytime the Big Al is working here, we do a drip check with him, as we've named it. And you can see today's outfit. It'll be up in just a little bit. I'll also have a link there if you're interested in going to the that fine pop-up Kissa that put on by Suntory Whiskey and the Grackle.
Thanks for the
which,
hats.
like I said, a little pricey, but I was able to completely unplug from the world, and it was really fun and worth it. And I got to drink some whiskey that I'll never get to drink again because we drank half the bottle, and the bottle is one of 3 made in the world. So there's a lot of fun stuff happening around the city. We've got our KLBJ Day Party happening at Come and Take It Live. Bob will be down there later. I'll be down there later as well. You may even see Chuy, though I doubt he makes it out of the parking lot, but that's probably where you want to meet him anyway.
I'll be out there.
Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
I'll be out there.
Keep it tuned in here every day till 10. Keep listening to the station for the entire day, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow, right?
Yep,
Absolutely.
sounds good.